it takes him a while to use the Force. It looks like he's about to shit, like he has indigestion, Chad. It's like he ate too much cheese at Echo Base. And he reaches out, Chad, when he see the lightsaber just giving way until it goes right into his hand. He goes, yeah! And the Wampa's like, hey, what the fuck you doing? Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video.
A big, new, sprawling space adventure in the Star Wars saga, The Empire Strikes Back.
But now, chap, I must get to my scene by scene breakdown, chat, to Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, chat. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's by far my favorite Star Wars film. I think it's regarded as one of the greatest sequels of all time, chat. Thank you. Oh, boy. Ball back. Ball back. 102. Think of the follow your man Huckleberry just in time for my Empire Strikes Back review. Now, chat, typically before I go ahead and get into all the nitty-gritty details of these movie films, I like to ask you a very important question. That question being, how many of you have seen Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back? I'm very curious. Chris Ayers. Oh, yeah. DD of course, who hasn't? Zero Spock. Now everybody nod smiles. Star Wars? I'll show myself out. Maybe not. Then for Nia Browning. Mighty Thor, yes. Hamilton Burger, yes. Firewolf, me. Had Man plenty of times. Remain way too many times. I've seen an unhealthy amount of times. So unhealthy. Some I've seen it. Clad, I have. It's my favorite Star Wars movie. Same, my friend. Bilbo, yes, my favorite movie of all time. Clearly blew my mind as a kid. Same, man. That is a funny question, Chris. I don't know. Some people may not have seen it. I just don't know. I watch it. Jason Bear says I watched it in January. Saw it recently. Thought they smell bad on the outside. No, we'll get to it. Casfa, yes, many times. KJ, me. Muslim Gamers, only 50 or 60 times. So most of you guys have seen these films. Seeing this film, Empire, the OG, and the Rogue One are the best, as Jason Bear. Needs more words in the stirrers. Maybe I'll add that. Maybe I'll add a little dash of that throughout my review. But much like you guys, I did indeed see The Empire Strikes Back. This is not my first time watching this movie. I've seen this film. I mean, it's up there with like one of the most movies I've watched over time and time again, every year, multiple times, just having in the background or something, chat. It's just one of those classic films. I remember first watching this, chat, when they did this is why I first saw the original trilogy. It was in the 90s. It was in preparation for the release of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which I have done a review for, chat. I have done Episode 1. It's on my YouTube channel, Class in a Glass, right now. You can check it out. But I saw this, it was the special edition re-releases, which didn't really change too much from the first special edition for The Empire Strikes Back. They cleaned it up a little bit, but I don't remember anything that was controversial about the changes they made, at least the first time that George Lucas went in and said, I'm going to change everything. It's going to be great. I mean, yeah, later on, he did some additions, shit. I've talked about him before, especially in my A New Hope review. This one feels like it's relatively untouched. It's like I don't feel like there's any additional scenes. Like the swamp, the snow creature. They added more of with the Wampa chat, with the snow ape. Like you see more of him like walking around eating shit. That actually I think is pretty fucking cool. I think that's a cool little addition that he had. It's very intimidating when we see the Wampa chat. Always is very scared of him. Always very scared of him in Star Wars Shadows of the Empire chat, where you play as a rebel pilot and smuggler Dash Rendar chat, and you're running through Echo Base, and you got it's the Wampas. Fuck, they take up so much blaster fire. I gotta stand still and just wait until my fucking DL-44 pistol recharges chat so I can take them down. This is what he added to the film. But I saw this in the theater, and it blew my little childhood brain. It just exploded. It's the back of my head, chat, just shot up, chat. My head was just very swollen ever since then. I saw New Hope and Empire pretty much back to back. Like, I saw A New Hope on a Saturday, and I saw Empire like on Sunday that weekend. And then next weekend, I saw Return of the Jedi, chat. And I sat there for like days thinking like, oh my God, Is fucking Darth Vader really Luke's dad? Is that true? That's not true. That's impossible. It's impossible, Chad. There's no way. And then I fucking saw the movie. I was like, oh, it's true. It's absolutely true, Chad. You can't deny it. So I saw these movies under the best circumstances, I thought. You know, as a little kid, just watching them, Chad, I was like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. And ever since then, Chad, I've just been obsessed with this movie. I've owned it. I've owned them on VHS. I actually have the original VHS versions of Star Wars. I don't have a VCR. I can't play them, Chad, but that's a fucking rare commodity. I can sell that, Chad, for money. And maybe I'll do it someday now. It'll always be close to my heart, Chad. I gotta find a fucking VCR player. Show it. I think I might have it. I'll fucking show it, Chad. Hold on, let me find it. I'm gonna find it right now. Alex Bernal, edit this out. I got it, Chad. Here we are. There it is, Chad. This is the original untouched Star Wars. God, has a copious amounts of dust on it. You see Star Wars A New Hope. You see Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. And you see Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Here. I'll even take a look how old these are. Look how worn and torn. These how many times I've watched them, chat. Have you ever seen this? Is a VHS tape, folks. This is what a VHS tape looks like. Can you believe that? It has Dwyer written on it because I bought these at a garage sale. That's what I know that was it. Who names their kid Dwyer? I ask you that, chat. But there it is, Dwyer. So, yes, lovely films. Go ahead and put you back, chat, as they should be. Keep them safe. Thank you, by the way. Excuse me. Thank you to Deadpool with the 4 Biddies. I had to find a VCR. Isn't the plot of a Cowboy View episode? It is. It absolutely is. I actually did a full-length video and audio commentary for that very episode. It was about Faye Valentine's past. It's quite good. There you go, Chase. You know I'm a big-time Star Wars fan. And, you know, I've seen the special editions, the 2004 special editions, when they all the changes. But Empire Strikes Back, that's the one that they changed so little, because so little needs to be changed, chat. It's kind of like that perfect movie. And I'll critique some of the things in it, chat. I'll critique some of the acting and the dialogue. Believe me, I fucking will. There's a lot to make fun of in this movie, chat. Even the great films that you can make fun of, you can poke fun of them, chat. You know, it can razz them a little bit. Take the piss out of them, chat. But to provide you with some facts about the film, chat, of course, this is the sequel to Star Wars A New Hope. It was one of, I think, really two movies from the 70s, chat. You think of Star Wars A New Hope and Jaws. Like, those are the two films that I think really changed Hollywood and filmmaking and really created what we consider now to be the modern-day blockbuster, chat. They changed so much for the good and for the bad, I think. And it became the highest grossing movie, I think, of all time. I know, fucking Gone with the Wind, whatever. I'm not talking about Gone with the Wind, all right, chat? I'm not talking about, you know, a film that's about, like, oh, you know, the South, they're just, you know, they're just trying to live their lives. Fuck them. Fuck them, chat. It was about the glory of the Confederacy. I don't give a shit. I don't care, chat. I'm talking about the Star Wars. That's what I like, all right? And so, yeah, fucking Star Wars A New Hope. It was one of the highest grossing films of all time. A commercial success, critical success, chat. George Lucas had a fucking heart attack while making the movie. He had hypertension, chat. It was stressful. No one believed in him. Everyone was making fun of him, chat. And you thought, oh, well, he's obviously going to come back and direct. He's like, fuck that. I ain't coming back to direct the sequel. I almost had a heart attack. He's like 27 years old, chat. That's the last thing he needs right now. Thank you, J. Jamar Johnson, for the follow. You're my new Huckleberry, criminal review of The Empire Strikes Back. So, he went ahead and he formed his own company because he didn't want to deal with the fucking, just the stresses of the studios and things. I mean, he still, of course, had Fox distributed, chat, but he formed Lucasfilm, chat. He formed Lucasfilm. The problem was, this is some interesting history about Lucasfilm, chat. Most of his employees left when he was prepping Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back with his new director, which, funny enough, was also his professor in college, chat. We'll talk about him in a second. But they all left to work on the Battlestar Galactica TV show, the original one. And so he had to fucking wrangle all these new people, all these, you know, people that are coming out of school to work on this movie. So it's pretty incredible when you think about it. Like, even in the sequel, it was still just as hard, and he still had the pressure of everyone else on him. But of course, he's like, I ain't fucking directing. I mean, I'm gonna watch it like a hawk, as you would expect it, chat. But the person you had coming in there, where I mean, he looked at George Lucas' vision. He said, I can work with this. And I'm going to make some changes for the better. You had Irving Kershner, Chad, who came in. A lot of people think, oh, George Lucas, he directed all the Star Wars movies. No, he did not. He did not, Chad. He directed Episode 4, and he directed the 3 prequels, Chad. Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. But he did not direct Empire or Return of the Jedi. And the person who directed Empire Strikes Back, Chad, was Irving Kershner, who was also George Lucas's teacher, professor, in film school, Chat. And he said, well, I want the guy that really inspired me to become, like, to work in film, and who pushed me to pursue this idea of this sci-fi space opera to direct my next movie, because I don't want to fucking have a heart attack at the age of 29. And so Irving Kershner accepted, and he said, George, this is great. I'm going to change a lot of it. Because Irving Kershner, funny enough, Harrison Ford, they went in and they changed, Lawrence Kasdan, and Lawrence Kasdan as well, they went in and they changed like a lot of dialogue for the film. And so like some of the most like iconic lines that we'll get to later in the movie, like, when Han's just about to be frozen in carbonite, Chat, by Darth Vader and Boba Fett on Bespin, Chat. Leia says, I love you. In the original script that George wrote, it said, I love you too. And they're like, fuck that, no. No, what he's going to say is, I know. And an iconic line was born, Chad. That was because of those 3 individuals. I think it was really goddamn cool. I thought it was really fucking cool. Eric Kershner was the best Star Wars director? Agreed. He absolutely was. I'm in full agreement. And it's funny because George Lucas apparently had a chip on his shoulder after the movie, when he saw it, and it was screened. This is allegedly, Chad. It's like, I think it's in a book called Empire Building. I forget what it was. It was about the original Star Wars, the making of the original Star Wars trilogy. I think I might have it somewhere. And it's where apparently it was Irving Kershner, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and Francis Ford Coppola, and they were in a room, and he showed the movie. And at the end of the movie, Spielberg and Coppola were like, this is amazing. This is incredible. And George Lucas stood up and said, you're ruining my movie. And I think he took the movie and he isolated himself like in an editing bay for several days. And he came out with a new version. He screened it. And apparently Spielberg, Coppola, and Kershner, they were laughing at his edit because they did not like it. So it's like it's kind of fucking nuts. It's kind of nuts, Jet. It would have been, exactly, would have been out of character for Han to say I love you too. So it's like, wow. So I always think Lucas has like a little bit of a chip on his shoulder about Empire, because it's also, it's the one he didn't direct. Because he pretty much all but directed Return of the Jedi except in name. Like, he was constantly hovering over Richard Marquand when he directed that film, Chat. Like, a lot of people don't remember Richard Marquand. He was the director of Return of the Jedi. People remember Irving Kershner because he just fucking made an impression. It was very much like, hey, this is my kind of take on Star Wars. It feels like to me, at the very least. I'm using George Lucas's ideas, Chat, and, extrapolating from them, proliferating them, going interesting directions, of course. But again, it's still, George Lucas's vision. It's still his story, obviously. But I always thought that was really cool. But then you look at Return of the Jedi, and you can see George Lucas. I'm not going to let an Irving Kershner situation happen. He's just fucking on Richard Marquand's shoulder, going, I think you should change the Wookiees to Ewoks. See, I was like, that's what he wanted, Chad. But still, end of the day, love The Empire Strikes Back. Kind of give you some little interesting, fun facts, Chat. Of course. Movie was made for about $33 million. She had a box office about $550.9 million. It was commercial success. Not nearly as successful, though, as the original film. This is also back in the day when Hollywood sequels just did not do well. Great comparison, Chad, is like Planet of the Apes. The first Planet of the Apes movie, like in the 60s, did great business. Sequel, it was commercial success, but nowhere near as successful. People just didn't want to go to see sequels. Like, I'm just going to see the same thing again. The whole concept of sequels, like, no, you want to continue the story on. People were just like, yeah, I don't care. So it still did very well. Although, interestingly, critically, it did not do as well as the first film. It has some mixed reviews, but in the years since then, Chad, it's been reappraised, and people consider it to be not only the best Star Wars film, not only one of the greatest sci-fi fantasy movies of all time, but one of the greatest sequels, one of the greatest films of all time, Chad. And I think it stands the test of time. This movie is over 40 years old now at this point, and so much about it just it stands up. It's so good at what it's doing, from the acting, from the world building, from the action scenes. It just has some of the most iconic moments, I think, in sci-fi fantasy filmmaking. I absolutely adore it, chat. So you probably can expect what my review, my end rating, chat, will be for this film. But I'm not there yet, chat. So don't get ahead of me. Don't get ahead of me, goddammit, because we're gonna go ahead and get to the nitty-gritty details, chat. We start the Star Wars opening fanfare, chat. We get them a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars! And we see the opening crawl, chat, and we learn that it has been 3 years since the destruction of the first Death Star, chat. Little did we know there would be a second one, chat, Return of the Jedi. And I think, apparently Empire's like, listen, we just want to build it, another one. We want to build it, like, bigger, though. We want to build it bigger. Now we'll get destroyed. Anyway, stop. The Empire's just stop with the super weapons. It just doesn't work out in Star Wars history. Didn't work happen with the Star Forge, chat. Star Killer base was bad. Those Star Planet Destroyers, I don't know what they were. That didn't work out. Just stop it. Okay? You should have stopped it too, but you didn't. You kept fucking going. But chat, it's been 3 years since the destruction of the first Death Star, and Vader is pissed, chat. Emperor Palpatine, he was on his ass because Vader was the sole survivor of the destruction of the first Death Star, chat, on the Imperial side in the Battle of Yavin. And Grand Moff Tarkin, chat, he got his ass blown up. We will not retreat. We will not give up on our victory. And ba-boom. He lost, chat, all right? Tarkin, he got all the fucking Imperial hierarchy on the Death Star got. And Vader, he was sole survivor. He has since risen in the ranks in the Empire, chat. He doesn't have someone like Tarkin, on his back telling him to stop choking people. He gets to choke and force bitch slap anyone he wants, chat. That's what he gets to do. And the one thing that he has on his mind is to find this son of a bitch, this fucking farm boy from Tatooine, who's, always piloting his T-16 bullseye womp rats in Beggar's Canyon, chat. He wants to find him and find out, how did this little ship blow up the Death Star? There's something to this kid. There's something to him, and I don't like it. And the thing is, though, chat, the rebels, they since have to retreat it from Alderaan got blown up. Since they have to retreat from Yavin, chat, because, they fucking blew up the Death Star. The Empire's like, hey, we're going to come to get you. And so now they have found a new base, chat, on the Hoth, in the sixth planet in the Hoth system, which, funny enough, is called Hoth. And so that's where they are, chat. And so we cut from the opening title crawl, chat, and we see an Imperial fleet. And underneath the Imperial fleet's tummy, chat, in this one particular Star Destroyer, it gives birth, chat. You see those gray thighs, and it's just pushing those things out, chat. We see these little probes and go boop, 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 and they're going off, chat. And we see one particular probe droid, chat, one particular little capsule go towards the planet of Hoth, chat. Boom! Lands on there, embeds in there. And what do we see walk up on this little probe droid, chat? A claymation Tauntaun and Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself. We hear the Tauntaun go, oh, these things always look gross to me, even before we knew that, I thought they smell bad on the outside. They look like they smell bad no matter what. Even if you would bathe, it'd be like, it'd have that wet Tauntaun smell. Just not a great creature. It has like this fucking snot that's constantly around its mouth and nose. It's like, yeah, I don't like this thing. I'm glad they're getting fucking eaten by the Wampas. They look dumb too. They look fucking dumb. And we see this little claymation, there's a little bit of claymation in this movie. We see a little claymation Luke Skywalker and Tauntaun ride up, and he takes off his, he puts the binoculars on, and he sees it as like, what the hell is that thing? It looks like a meteorite of some kind. And then he hears a little bzz, 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 bzz on his little communicator chip, moves his shawl, even though the fucking freezing, negative digit temperatures of Hoth are just assaulting his lips and mouth right now, and he takes a call, and who is it? Shit, it's Han Solo. It's his buddy Han Solo. And Han's like, hey, listen, Luke, I'm freezing my fucking balls off here. I'm gonna head back to Echo Base. All right, I finished my last pass. I finished my, my last little patrol. I'm heading back. You coming in now, buddy? And it's like, I'll be right there. I just saw this meteorite crash, and I just want to check it out. He's like, all right, well, you let me know if anything's up. He's like, cool, I'll let you know. And the Tauntaun goes, and he's like, what's wrong, girl? What's wrong? You smell something? And we see the Wampa attack Luke Skywalker's face shit. It just bashes him. It front slaps. It just slaps Jet. It bitch slaps his Luke, and he fucking goes off the thing, and the Wampa just goes right for the throw of the Tauntaun, chat, embeds its talons inside of the Tauntaun's thick, girthy, neck, chat, and rips its throat out. It falls down dead. And then we see both Luke and Tauntaun dragged into the snow, chat, as it starts to get rough. It starts to get even more blustery out there. It's like, oh no, not Luke Skywalker. Is he dead already? Now, funny thing is, chat, now, this was actually written into the movie for a very specific reason. Mark Hamill, the actor, he was actually involved in a pretty bad, not car, people always say it's a car accident. It was not a car accident. It was a boating accident, chat. And he needed to have facial reconstructive surgery, chat. So that's why his face looks so different as it does compared to like how he originally looked in the first Star Wars, chat. They had to fucking put his face back because the boat accident was so goddamn bad. And you even see like some of the, you could tell like when they were shooting certain things because like the scars, like those are actually real. Those are actually real. And they had to wait for them to heal, chat. And so this entire sequence was written because of Mark Hamill's sad accident that he experienced. So there, a little fun fact for you, Chad, of poor Mark Hamill, what do you have to go through, Chad? But then eventually, Chad, is good old Mark Hamill and the Tauntaun, they're dragged away. We get back to Echo Base, Chad, and Han Solo, his Tauntaun's like, he's like, all right, get this fucking smelly beast out of my way. He's like, hey, is Luke shown up yet? He's like, nah, sir, he hasn't come back yet. He's like, all right, well, you let me know when he comes back. It's fucking getting cold out there. And he's like, okay. He's like, he goes and sees Chewie, Chad, and Chewie's doing all sorts of repairs on the Falcon. Apparently the Falcon, chat, it's even a bigger piece of shit than it was in A New Hope. It's not looking good. The hyperdrive is on the fits, chat. It's just not working at all. And you got little R2-D2 helping put together C-3PO. He's waddling over. He's like, sir, the, General Leia would like to, or no, Princess Leia would like to speak to you. He's like, geez, I don't have time for that broad, okay? I have a bounty on my head that is so high from Jabba the Hutt. I just know that I'm not going to be able to go anywhere in the galaxy. All right, he's going to get after my ass, and the last thing I need is a giant slug man trying to come and get me. And he's like, C-3PO was like, listen, sir, you got to talk to Princess Leia. Like, all right, fine. So he goes over there, chat, and he gets the attention of the general because he's like, I don't even want to talk to Leia at this point. He says, hey, General. General's like, is Luke back yet? He's like, Luke hasn't reported back yet, but, I'm letting people, I'm telling them to let me know when he's back. And they're like, all right, sure. But he's like, listen, I'm going to have to get out of here in the next few days. I can't stay here. I have a fucking price in my head. I got to pay off Jabba the Hutt, man. And he's like, I understand that. No one wants a fucking death mark on their head. He's like, okay, cool. And then Princess Leia, she observes this, and she's all giving him like looks like that. And Han's like, I don't. He kind of goes over to her, and he goes, well, you're not going to say goodbye to me? She's like, I'm not going to fucking say goodbye to you. Like, we need you. We need you, Han. Okay? The time's like, oh, Firewall, thank you 100 biddies. Appreciate that. I'm looking again. Oh, that's cruel. Thank you so much, Firewall, for the 100 biddies. But as he's fucking walking away, he's like, well, what, are you just going to say goodbye to me, Princess? He's like, we need you here, Han, okay? I mean, if you want to go, then just go. Where he's like, you're not going to give me a goodbye fucking kiss. And he walks away. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, I know how you always look at me. I see you. And they're doing this in the middle of the goddamn hallway, chat, the entire time. Just talking to each other and like this arguing. People are just like, oh shit, as they're just moving in between them as they're going. It's like, oh, can you two just get a fucking cold icebox room and just go at it for all of us, for all of our sakes, okay? You're annoying us. And he's like, I've had enough of you, princess. See you later. If you need a goodbye kiss, then go ahead and talk to my Wookiee. And she's like, you seriously think 100 biddies? Thank you. Oh, wasn't Carrie Fisher high as a kite while making info? Yeah, you in multiple scenes, you actually see she has a coke nail. Like all of her other nails are very, very, they're clipped, but her pinky nail is super long. She's constantly, woo! She gets extra mad, Chan. She's surrounded by white powder. So you just know she just needed a little hit that day. She couldn't help herself. He looks way better now. He's aged well. Mark Hamill's aged very well. At this point, Chad, he's like, well, I'm going to leave. And she's like, fine, do whatever the fuck you want. And then we got to check in on good old Luke Skywalker, Chad. And things aren't going really great for Luke right now because we see he is in the Wampa's cave and he's being refrigerated, basically. He has his feet stuck up in the air. What the Wampa does, because he wants all the blood to go down to this one region. So Luke will be nice and tender and squishy. He'll be nice and smush. And so when he starts eating him, all the blood will be down there. Oh, it'll be so wet. He wants a nice, wet, mushy Mark Hamill. And Mark Hamill, he's like, Luke, he comes too, and his face is all fucked up, and he sees, and he hears the Wampa over there. And we see this great cut. This is in the original, I believe, special edition of the movie in '97. You see the Wampa eating that fucking tauntaun. That tauntaun got Chad. He's just munching down. The practical effects for the Wampa are really, really cool. Like the suit they built, it's nice. But Luke, he's kind of looking. He sees that he's trying to free his feet, but he's getting there good. He's frozen, and he's trying to look for like his lightsaber, but he doesn't see it. But he sees it right off there, like right to his side, but he can't fucking reach it, Chad. He's like, ooh, I gotta concentrate. I have to use the Force. He's going, ooh, it takes him a while to use the Force. It looks like he's about to shit, like he has indigestion, Chad. It's like he ate too much cheese at Echo Base, and he reaches out, Chad. And we see the lightsaber just giving way until it goes right into his hand. He goes, yeah, and the Wampa's like, hey, what the fuck you doing? And the Wampa is starting to get up and go towards Luke. Luke's like, fucking shit. He activates the lightsaber, Chad. He cuts his feet off because that's what he has to do, Chad. That's what deer have to do, Chad. They have to gnaw their own leg off. They have like a wolf will gnaw their own leg off just to escape or tear them off. It's horrific. And so he's got these little stubs, Chad, but it's okay. He'll get some robot feet very soon. And so he's on there, Chad. He stands up on his squishy, very cold stubs, and he lightsabers off the Wampa's arm, Chad. And Wampa's like, oh, it's in horrific pain. As then Luke, as he waddles out of the Wampa's cave, Chad, and he's in the fucking tundra, Chad. All he sees is snow and ice in every direction. He has no idea where he is. He has no tauntaun, but he's like, I can't be in that. I would have just stayed in the cave and killed that fucking thing and just lived in its body for warmth, Chad, like a little Wampa cocoon. That's what I would have made, but he didn't think about that because he's panicking at the time. So he wanders out there. Eventually, Han, he's just spending all his time trying to repair the Falcon at this point. He's arguing with Chewie. He's like, no, that part needs to go here, not there. Jesus Christ. Well, I want to actually leave this fucking ice ball of a planet. I need to pay off Jabba the Hutt. And then C-3PO, he comes over. He's like, sir. He's like, what the fuck do you want? What do you need? And C-3PO was like, Princess Leia. He's like, I don't care what Princess Leia has to say. I don't want to speak to her, okay? She doesn't want to speak to me. I don't speak to her. I don't care. She goes, no. She's concerned about Luke. She wants to know if you've seen him. He's like, I haven't seen him. And 3PO is like, well, she hasn't seen him either. He's like, well, who has seen him? Like, no one. What do you mean no one's seen him? He's like, he hasn't come back. He's like, I'm just finding out about this now that he hasn't come back. His patrol ended hours ago. It's fucking almost dark outside. It's dark outside right now. He's like, where's an officer? I need to speak to HR. I need an HR officer. And he goes down and he's asking this guy, where's Luke Skywalker? He goes, I don't know. He's like, you don't fucking, and he's just pissed. He's like, fine, I'm gonna fucking do it myself. Chewie, keep repairing the Falcon. And so then he goes to the tauntaun enclosure, chat, where it just smells like shit. And he gets on a tauntaun, chat. And this guy's talking to him. He's like, but sir, it's too dangerous out there. You'll freeze to death. Well, I'll see you in hell, which I love is the first mention that we see, we hear of hell in the Star Wars universe, which is like, we don't really hear that often, but I like that. It was like, that was cool. That felt like an improvised line from Harrison Ford, but it was so natural to see. And it was John Ratzenberger. It was. He was the guy telling him, don't fucking go. Don't do it. You'll freeze to death. Or I'll see you in hell, John Ratzenberger. Or possibly an animated film, most like a Pixar film, because you constantly appear in Pixar movies all the time. So most likely there. Most likely there, Chad. Good to see you. Good to see you, Joey. Hope you're doing very well. Oh, but at this point, he rides off there. He's riding out there into the darkness. He's got to find his best buddy, his friend Luke. Meanwhile, Luke is just taking his clothes off, chap, because he has hypothermia at this point. And what oftentimes when you experience intense hypothermia, you feel like you're actually really hot and sweating, but you're not. You're not actually. That's just your brain getting all fucked up. And so Luke is he's just shirt cocking it on Hoth, chat, just like, everything's just dangling out there. That's not good. And eventually, because of the fucking cold, chat, and his meat stumps, he has to stop waddling around. And so he falls in the snow. He's like, ah. But then who does he see out there, chat? He sees hypothermia illusion, chat. Mirage Ben Kenobi. Ben Kenobi's like, Luke, what's up? How you doing? Oh, my God. Because he sees Luke with his shirt cock. He's got meat stumps. He's like, oh, no. Listen, man, I just came here to tell you. Yeah, you got to go to Dagobah, man. He's like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, listen, you got to go to Dagobah and you got to find Jedi Master Yoda, the Jedi Master that taught me. First of all, that's not true. We all know, chat, that fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi's master was Qui-Gon Jinn, all right? Opening of Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, chat. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, all right? We see the Republic craft coming into the Trade Federation droid ship, chat. It lands, right? The Modians don't want to do the negotiations with the Naboo. They're like, fuck them, okay? But the Republic is obligated to send 2 ambassadors, chat, but they're actually Jedi agents trying to be there for the negotiations. And we know, you know those 2 Jedi are, chat? A young Padawan, very young Padawan, Obi-Wan Kenobi, chat, Ben Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, and Master Qui-Gon Jinn, all right? Liam Neeson. I didn't see fucking Yoda around here, okay? And so they sat down, and then they had a gas attack, and they fought a bunch of droids, and eventually they found this little psychotic Tatooine boy, who's a little slave boy, Chad, who wants to fucking participate in pod races, and yippee! They free him and not his mother. Anyway, eventually, chat, Qui-Gon and Ben Kenobi, they fight Darth Maul, and Qui-Gon's not very good at lightsaber duels because he gets stabbed in the tummy. Obi-Wan freaks the fuck out, and Darth Maul's like, oh, shit. And he kills Darth Maul. He slices him in half, Chad. Oh, Darth Maul could have killed him. He definitely could have killed him, Chad. He was overconfident will be his undoing, Chad. He was just, like, playing with his food. He sliced him in half, and then he held the body of Qui-Gon, who was his master, Chad. He's like, I'll do anything you want, master. What do you need? He's like, I want you to train Anakin Skywalker. Boom. Yoda's not involved in this. Jar Jar also was perhaps there as well, Chad. But anyway, going back to Empire Strikes Back, just wanted to emphasize the point that Yoda was not his Jedi Master. So we all know that, Chad. In hindsight, we know that not to be true, but we'll allow it. Ben Kenobi fibs quite often in this series. Oh, yeah, your father. Yeah, he was killed by Darth Vader years ago. He's a real bad guy. From a certain point of view, your father did die. Sure, Benny. Like a certain point of view, Yoda is my Jedi Master. Sure, Ben. Okay. But anyways, like, hey, Luke, listen. Go to Dagobah, find Jedi Master Yoda, the Jedi Master that taught me, and you'll be good. He's like, Ben, wait, Ben. He's like, all right, see you later. I gotta go. He just fucking leaves him. And Luke's like, and he just fucking faints, chat, because of the hypothermia and probably the meat stubs. And then we see who rides through Ben Kenobi's, like, the illusion, chat. The little Ben Kenobi Mirage. Han Solo and his Tauntaun, chat. He finds Luke, just happens to be out there. He's like, oh shit, Luke. He gets off his Tauntaun, he goes over, he's like, Luke, put on your pants, man. He puts some pants on Luke, chat. He sees the meat stubs, he cauterizes the meat stubs, chat. And then he's like, oh boy, this isn't good. I gotta get you back to base. But the Tauntaun's like, well, would be a real dick move to die right now. And it fucking dies. He's like, shit. And he's like, all right, oh boy, I gotta use my survival instinct. So he drags Luke over to the Tauntaun, chat. And we see Han Solo actually use Luke's legs. I always thought it was cool that he's handling a lightsaber. I think that's kind of neat. But he takes the lightsabers, chat, and he cuts it along the Tauntaun's belly, which always freaked me out because it looks, practical effects, man. They hold up so well. Cuts it open. You know, it has all these weird, like, it looks like the insides of Ian Holm from Alien, chat. It's all filled, like, with milk and shit. Like, all these, like, milky yellow intestines, all the belly fat. And he's like, oh, Luke, okay, it's not going to smell great, but you'll be warm. There he looks like, Leia, Ben, Dagobah, Yoda, the whole time. He's like, shut up, Luke, shut up. He puts him in there, stuffs him in the Tauntaun. And, you know, and Han says it, chat, I thought they smell bad on the outside. And they always smell bad, chat, no matter what, no matter given situation. The Tauntaun is a disgusting fucking animal. Eventually, though, he's like, hey, I gotta set up fucking camp. I gotta set up camp. Boom. But then, chat, it's the next day. And we see these snow speeders. And we see who, chat? Not Wedge. We see a snow speeder pilot, not Wedge. Wedge is in this movie, chat, but he's not here in this little part. And we see not Wedge as he's patrolling the places near Echo Base. By the way, the snow speeder is actually a modified air speeder, chat, for snow terrestrial combat. Did you know that? I do. And so eventually, chat, they try to pick him up on comms, and we hear Han. It's like, oh, thank you for joining us this morning. I'm just taking care of my new friend, Luke Stumpy Skywalker. It's like, Echo Base, I found them. Repeat, I found them. It's like, well, thank fucking God you did. That's pretty good. That's good to hear. And so then they take poor Luke back, Chad. They get him back there, and they put him in a back to tank, Chad. And they got Luke wearing a big old diaper. It's like, because he's got to poop. How else is he going to poop, Chad? In the back to tank. So they got to put the diaper on him. And eventually, they start pumping air in him or something. And he wakes up, he's like, oh, and he looks like a very big, like, baby Mark Hamill just floating in there, Chad. Eventually, like, okay, we don't want to look at this anymore. And so they take him out of the tube, and we see Mark Hamill, Chad. We see all the scars on his face from, and they also give him robot feet. He's got robot feet now, so he isn't walking on stumps anymore, thank God. The last thing the guy needs is to walk Luke Stump Walker. The last thing he needs is to just, lose a limb, right? That'd be very inconvenient. And so he's up there chatting. Leia's just happy to see him. And he's like, oh, your face. He's like, it's so great to see you, Leia. And so throughout this movie, Leia, it feels like, we have the Han Solo and Leia romance. That's a big part of it. But then in this fucking scene, it's like, oh, is this setting something up? It's like, is this another romance? I don't know. This could also be the fact that George Lucas did not know that Leia would be Luke's sister later on, even though he says, oh yeah, I planned out the original trilogy years ago. I don't think that's true, George, based on what we see in this movie. So at this point, Han walks in and goes, kid, you're looking fucking great. So great. And then he has Leia right next to him. And he's like, we were very concerned about you, okay? And he's like, I just want to let you know, Leia, she recently confessed her feelings about me in front of everyone and in front of the entire base. And she's like, you stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder. And he's like, who's scruffy looking, bitch? He's like, you. He's like, I know you love me. It's like, oh yeah, you think that, do you? And she's like, Luke, come here. And she fucking grabs Mark Hamill's face. She's like, and she just makes out with him, chat, right there, ton and everything. She explores every crevasse inside of Mark Hamill's face, chat. And she's like, and she walks away, and she just fucking gets out of there. And Han's like, oh, and Luke's just like, just so smug and smiling. He's like, well, I'll see you later, buddy. Take care. And he's like, Han. He's like, fuck you, man. And he leaves. Now, we know in hindsight and in context that is her brother. So I'm not willing to believe that fucking George Lucas said, oh yeah, I always knew that they were brother and sister. There actually, funny enough, is a book that came out in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. It was called, what was it called? Twilight of the Mind's Eye? I forget what it was specifically called, but it was a sequel where Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa, chat, have sex. Like they have a romantic relationship, chat, in that novel. And also Luke apparently fucking kills Darth Vader. Or he knocks him down like a well or something. It's very weird. Like he defeats Vader in a lightsaber duel. And so it's like, yeah, we wanted him to foresee that. He's like, shit. Luke is a good idea, man, and he just needs a co-pilot. Yes, he does. He needs someone to guide him, to hold his hand through the process. I agree. So, yeah, it was like either Spectre of the Mind's Eye. I forget what it was called. But it was an in-between sequel. So, the Leia-Luke relationship has always been kind of weird. But after that good stuff, the fucking commanders at Echo Base was like, we think we have a probe droid out here. Like, what the fuck's a probe droid? And it's like, it might be from the Empire. And they see that on the scanners. They have no idea what the hell it is. And Han's like, all right, Chewie and I will go and check on what this is, and we'll report back. So they go out there, chat, and they see this little project out of the system, because it's the thing that fell from the meteorite, chat. It's the thing that the Empire is sending out there. It's like, out of the system. I never know what it's saying in the beginning, but you just hear system the whole time. Out of the system. And eventually, Han spots this thing, and Chewie's right behind him. He goes, oh, and the probe just starts firing at Chewbacca. It's like, don't do that. Don't fire at Chewbacca. But he starts firing, Han, he starts firing at it, and then Chewie fires at it, and then boom, it just explodes. Like, well, that was weird. And they walk up to it. And they say, like, nah, we didn't have it. Like, this thing has tough armor, so we didn't explode it. This thing had a self-destruct mechanism, and he's like, this is definitely Imperial, and the Empire definitely knows we're here. And the general's like, shit, we better start the evacuation, like, right now, chat, like, right fucking now. Meanwhile, chat, we cut to the Imperial fleet, where we see all sorts of Star Destroyers, Chad, the Imperials' best vessels, or at least we thought that, Chad, when we saw the original Star Wars, because all of a sudden, after we see all these multiple Star Destroyers crisscross each other, we see this giant shadow looming over all of them, Chad, passing them by, and we see the debut, Chad, of the Super Star Destroyer Executor, Chad, Darth Vader, the Dark Lord of the Sith, Chad, or one of the Dark Lords of the Sith. His flagship, his personal flagship, Chad, flying over. This thing's a fucking beauty, Chad. Woo! When we see it. And I love this shot. When we see Vader's helmet, we see from the back of Vader's helmet as he's looking out into space, Chad. It's like it's perfectly. The symmetry is great. And we see all these TIE fighters flying back. We hear that. That heavy breathing, everything, Chad. And he's just looking out into space. And eventually we hear from like one of the captain shit, Captain Piet. He is like, oh, we've managed to find something, Admiral. And Admiral Osel, Chad, he's like, what have you found? Because Admiral Osel, he's very rotund, Chad. He's got a big tummy. And he's like, what? And he waddles over there, Chad. And he's like, we found this. This is the sixth planet in the Hoth system. Appears to be a power generator of some kind, but it's large. We imagine this might be the rebel base. And he's like, there are so many outposts out here. Could be smugglers and pirates or brigands, for what we know. I want evidence that the rebels are there. And Darth Vader, he walks over, he's like, what have you found, gentlemen? And Captain Piet's like, Lord Vader, we believe we found this installation here on the Hoth system, the sixth planet of Hoth. We see this large generator. And Vader takes one look at it and goes, yep, rebels are there. Let's fucking get the war console ready. We're going to fucking invade. And Osel starts talking down to Vader. He's like, my lords, I mean, there could be many installations out here. Nothing from this image says that it could be the rebellion. He's like, don't fucking talk back to me, okay? The rebels are there. Good work, Captain Piet. Admiral Osel, prepare the fucking war machine, okay? All right? All right, good. Let's go. And he fucking walks off, and Admiral Osel's like, you disappoint me, Piet. He's very upset. And Piet's like, hey, man, I'm just doing my fucking job, man. I'm just doing my job. Vader, he gets ready. He goes over there. Eventually, Chad, we cut back to Echo Base, and they're fucking getting all prepped, Chad, for what is inevitably going to be a very tricky situation, Chad. They are unprepared to face the Empire, to face Vader's wrath at this point. He is bringing the might of the Empire down upon them, Chad. All right, and it's not good. It's not good. They don't have no fucking Death Star, but they got a shit ton of Star Destroyers, and they're going to blockade the planet, and so no one's going to be able to leave. And so they're fucking getting prepared at this point. It's a serious goddamn situation. We have Luke right there. We have Luke. He's getting all dressed up in his snowspeeder gear. He's saying goodbye to his medical droid who gave him all the good robot feet. Chad gave him instead of stumps, he's got good robot feet now. And he's also like, hey, when anything happens to me, you be sure you can put me back together. He's like, good luck to you, sir. He's like, yeah, good luck to you too. And he goes ahead and walks out, Chad. Meanwhile, Chad, we cut back to outer space, right? And the Imperial fleet, they have come out of hyperspace. They've come out of hyperspace. And the rebellion, they just got like, fuck, we see fucking Star Destroyers right there. Let's get this fucking moving. We'll mobilize a ground defense, and then we'll go ahead and get all the transport off it. Leia's like, all right, everybody, listen. We're going to have the ground defense for right now. To every single transport, we're going to have 2 X-Wings. And then we have this fucking jabroni who comes out of nowhere and who delivers these lines in such a terrible way. He says, 2 X-Wings against a Star Destroyer? And Leia looks at him and goes, hey, I'm fucking talking. We have planetary ion cannons, okay? They will fire at the Star Destroyers and disable them, and then you can get past them. So I don't want any fucking smack coming from you, you jabroni. And he's like, okay, I'm sorry. And so then everyone gets to their snow. She's like, all right, we good? Get to your fucking speeders. As they prep the evacuation at this point, Chad. I mean, it's getting bad. Meanwhile, we cut back to the Imperial fleet where General Veers, who, this actor also played, Chad, Grandmaster Maester Pycelle in Game of Thrones. Chad, he was the old guy with the beard. And he also played the bad guy in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade. It's the same actor, Chad. He's there, and he's the guy that walks in the giant robot camels, the AT-ATs, Chad. And he went there. He went to little Darth Vader's, like, I don't know, rest pod or something, his little office. He's like his meditation pod. And it's weird because we see like Darth Vader cross-legged, but he can't really do it in the suit. So it's kind of like half cross-legged the whole time. And General Veers get there. He's like, Lord Vader, the fleet has just come out of hyperspace, and the rebels are prepping for our attack. And Vader is like, Admiral Ozzel has alured the rebels to our presence. And Veers is like, well, listen, Ozzel thought that, the element of surprise would be. He's like, and Vader's like, cuts him off. He says, Admiral Ozzel is as clumsy as he is stupid. Prep your troops, General. I'll speak to Admiral Ozzel myself. And then he gets on space Skype, and he calls Admiral Ozzel. And Admiral Ozzel's like, oh, Lord Vader, I just want to let you know we have come out of hyperspace, and he's like, you have failed me for the last time, Ozzel. You're fucking dumb. He's like, Lord Vader, please. He's like, no. And he's like, Captain Piet, I want you to prep for our attack right now. Are you ready to engage Admiral Piet? Just as Admiral Ozzel's throat check crushes it on itself, and he chokes to death on his own bloody meat and innards, and he falls down dead. And Admiral Piet's like, right away, my lord. He's like, can you fucking deal with this giant, large corpse and move it away? They take care of that, chat. But then we cut down to Echo Base, chat. We see all the fucking troops preparing. They're all outside. They got all their laser cannons ready, their laser turrets. We see Luke Skywalker entering his snowspeeder, chat. He's going to participate in the terrestrial ground battle against the Empire as all the transports get out of there. And we're introduced to the character of Dak, who's very confident, chat. As soon as Luke Skywalker sits himself down, he's like, how you doing, Dak? He's like, boy, Luke, I'm ready to take on the Empire all by myself. And Luke's like, Dak, you're fucking stupid. That's what I would have said. It's like, no, you will not do that. And they get all the fucking speeders out there, chat, because now it's getting to serious business, because all the troops are on the I love that we have like snow trenches out here too. Reminds me of Star Wars Battlefront, like World War I. Edgy Berserker, thank you so much. Thank you so much for just coming. 15 months, a year and some change, an extra 3 months add on to it. Thank you, Berserker. Dak is 3 days of retirement. He really is. Dak was just not long for this world, Chet. He was a sweet summer flower and on an icy planet. He didn't stand a chance. Thank you. Welcome to stream. But yeah, we see from the perspective of the ground troops, they hear something. They hear it before they see it. Thoom, 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 thoom. And they get their fucking binoculars, chat. What do we see? Robot camos. We see AT-ATs, chat. Armored transports of big old fucking camel faces with giant turbo laser cannons. And when I saw these things, these things are the AT-ATs are awesome to see. Maybe their designs are impractical. Sure, a lot of Imperial equipment is impractical, chat. But they fucking look awesome. And it really just shows you how desperate the rebel situation is, because they got like turrets and laser cannons and these guys in trenches, and the Empire has giant fucking robots coming towards them, chat. These super powerful armored vehicles. And it's like, this isn't good. And these things are fucking getting closer, chat. But you know who's flying towards them? The fucking snow speeders, chat. And you know what they got? Harpoons and tow cables. The ultimate weakness of AT-AT, chat. Because they realize, like, none of our laser weapons, none of our blasters can penetrate the thick, girthy, robust, curvy hide of an AT-AT. But we can trip those motherfuckers. And if we harpoon their legs, because it's magnetic, like it's a magnetized harpoon, and we use our cables and we just spin around like in Star Wars Rogue Squadron, the game for the N64, we can trip them up and they'll fall. Nothing is as satisfying, chat, as harpooning an AT-AT in Nintendo 64's Star Wars Rogue Squadron, chat. It's like, oh, it's such a great goddamn feeling, chat. It's like sex. And so they're flying towards these things. And like, Luke's like, all right, guys, let's fucking get ready. Here we go. Dak, are you ready? He's like, I'm ready, Luke. I'm ready to take on the Empire. No! Because the AT-ATs start firing on him, and Dak gets blown up, chat. He explodes. And Luke's like, Dak, because they're passing by the AT-AT's legs. And Luke's like, God damn it, Dak, you're useless in life and you're useless in death. He couldn't even do that. Took on the whole Empire, chat. The Empire went, okay. Bah! And bitch slapped Dak, chap. Bitch slapped him to death. And now we have a bad situation going on here because we cut to space, and thankfully, chat, the planetary ion laser's working out well because they're shooting at the Imperial Star Destroyers, and we see that the first transport is away. Yay! We love when we cut to the extras, and they just like give the mildest, most milquetoast. Yay! Okay. And meanwhile, like, all these people are, like, evacuating, and we cut outside the battle. Thankfully, chat, fucking Wedge Antilles, chat. Like, he knows what he's doing, all right? Rogue 2, Red 2, he knows what he's doing. Because he fucking flies down there, chat, and he's got his boy, and they harpoon and tow cable on these AT-ATs, and this thing comes crashing down. Ba-boom. And they tack that son of a bitch out, chat. They do a great goddamn job. Meanwhile, all the other fighters are trying to, like, you know, circle around, trying to get their harpoons and tow cables on these AT-ATs. They're shooting them out of the air at this point. Like, we're trying to just delay them. We're not going to win this battle. We see, like, this is very weird, because when the first AT-AT, like, goes down the ground, it falls down the ground, and it's incapacitated, and you see all these soldiers like, come on, let's go. Like, are they going to attack the AT-AT that's on the ground, even though there's a shit ton of other AT-ATs, and we do see a brief shot of an AT-ST as well. We'll see them, more of them in Return of the Jedi, chat, in the forest moon of Endor, during the Battle of Endor, when they're attacked by fucking Ewoks and logs. But I don't know why these soldiers are like, come on, let's go. It's like, no. I would like to go backwards, all right? We don't stand a chance against these things, because every time the AT-ATs are shooting at them, they're just like, they just explode, chat. They're turned into fucking cinders. Bloody, maybe if there's any meat left, maybe like a small bloody pile of meat and bones and cartilage. I don't know. And then we see this one snowspeeder, like, fly down, and it shoots the head of the AT, and the whole thing explodes. I always thought it was weird. They always said, oh, it's the neck part. The neck part is, you know, not well guarded, and the neck part explodes? Is that true? I don't know. Yeah, I always thought, like, the AT-STs were, like, baby AT-ATs when I was a kid. It's the baby. It's its baby child. Maybe all the AT-ATs are pregnant. No, that AT-AT was pregnant with 2 AT-STs. Oh, it's gonna be a mama. And they blew it up. Rebels, that's why the rebels need to be defeated, chat. They're cruel. And they fly down. And they shoot it, and they blow this thing up. But eventually, Luke's like, I still want to participate in the battle. Not Wedge. Let's go ahead and take on an AT-AT together. He's like, okay. Not Wedge. Shed is not doing well. He's profusely bleeding out of his nose. How embarrassing, Che. He's got a nosebleed. He's like, oh. It's mixed with, like, blood and snot. It's just not good. But, oh, no. Because General Veers, he's pretty fucking competent. It's like, I have this battle pretty much locked down. We lost an AT-AT. That sucks, of course. But, you know, he's spotting all these fucking snowspeeder shit, and he sees Not Wedge coming at him. And Not Wedge is like, I got him. And General Veers is like, fire on that motherfucker. And they boom, and they blow him up, chat. Not Wedge, he's dead. And the only thing he did was save Luke and Han earlier in the film, and now he's gone. Thankfully, Wedge, because his harpoon tow cable gets like disabled, and we're like, oh, you can leave the movie now, Wedge. We'll see you at the end of the film, and then later on, Return of the Jedi during the Battle of Endor, one of the best space battles in the series. He's like, okay, I'm gonna leave. Bye, everybody. And so he leaves then, chat. Meanwhile, Luke, he's like, well, I'm still going to participate in the battle, but then he gets shot down too, shit. Thankfully, he doesn't explode. He just disables his speeder's turbines or some shit, and it crashes in the snow. And we get, like, one of the most fucked up scenes, like, personally, because it felt like, to me, like, Luke was trying to get Dak out of the speeder, but I don't know if he was actually doing that. But he's, like, reaching for stuff as this AT-AT is slowly coming towards him, chat. Thoom. Like, he's grabbing, like, a ton of shit. And eventually he's like, yeah, fuck this. I can't grab him. And he just jumps out of the speeder, chat, as the giant AT-AT hoof comes down and smushes the speeder and Dak. So if you thought Dak, well, maybe he's okay. Maybe he's just knocked out. He got smushed by a robot camel. And then we get a really badass scene. At this point, I'm like, why didn't you just do this? Because this seems a lot more effective. You just have, like, all these people, like, maybe hide out in the snow dunes or something. You have them run out. But then Luke, he runs under the underbelly, chat. The pregnant underbelly of an AT-AT. And he goes up there. He has like, a grappling hook. He fires it up at the AT-AT's belly, and he rises up into the air, and he performs a cesarean section on the AT-AT. He uses lightsaber, he cuts it open, takes a grenade, and he throws it in there, and he detaches from his grappling hook, chat, lands in the snow, and boom! This AT is killed from the inside out, chat, explodes and crashes onto the ground. Meanwhile, General Veers, he spots the power generator for the rebel base. He's like, blow that fucking shit up. And boom, he blows it up. He's like, yes, victory for the Empire. He calls Darth Vader, hey, Vader, I just blew up the power generator. You can make your way down the planet now for, to attack Echo Base and find that jabroni, Luke Skywalker. He goes, fantastic, General Veers. So he goes down there. Meanwhile, chat, we cut to inside Echo Base, and things are not great. People are fucking panicking at this point. People are just jumping in random spaceships, just trying to escape. People are just dying. It's horrific. It's horrific. And then we cut to the command center, chat. By the way, Han is just repairing the Falcon in the middle of this battle the whole time. And he's constantly yelling at Chewie. He's like, no, put that there. Just fucking put that there. And C-3PO is like, wait, sir, Leia got it. She's refusing to leave. She's refusing to leave to her transport. Yes. He's like, God damn it. All right. And he's like, Chewie, make sure the Falcon's going. Make sure it's going. And then he goes to the command center, chat. The general and some comm officers still are trying to monitor the progress of the battle and of the escaped craft and transports. And the general's like, all right, Leia, you gotta get going. We gotta get going right now, all right? And she's like, okay. And she tells the comm operatives and the general and says, okay, you guys got to get to your transports right now. We're fucking leaving. We're leaving. And they start running. And so Han, he's taking Leia like down this hallway. But then, oh no, because the AT-ATs are like right underneath the base at this point, and they cause an avalanche inside, and so it blocks their path. And Han's like, shit, there's no way we're gonna get to her transport. He grabs, he's like, listen, we're gonna take off in the Falcon. We're transporting Princess Leia in the Falcon. They go that way. And 3PO is like, help me, for the love of God, help me. And I think at one point, like one of the doors shut, and he's like, typical. And they grab him though. I was like, come here, you bastard. Now, there's a fantastic scene, chat, where eventually the Empire, they land on Hoth. Darth Vader, he's backed up by all these Imperial troops, right? He's walking through the command center, his force choking shit, all that good stuff. But at one point, this was actually edited out of the movie. You can watch this scene online, chat. It's a deleted scene because apparently it's too dark for C-3PO. So in Echo Base, chat, they were building like all these tunnels, like in throughout Hoth, like that go on for like miles and stuff. It's interesting. But in some of these places that they would dig, they would come upon these enclaves of wampas, chat, like these wampa caves, wampa nests, and they would attack and shit. And they would have these doors placed in certain places that says, don't go in here, there's fucking wampas. And they have like these signs. When they're passing by like a door, C-3PO, he stops and he sees one of the signs and he fucking rips it off. And then we see these like 2 or 3 snow troopers. By the way, I love the snow trooper designs. They look really fucking cool. They go, they like, oh shit, they go, they're like, let's go inside this door. They go in the door, chat, and then you can hear them being attacked by a wampa. You hear the blast go, the blast. I thought, why did they remove that? I thought that's so cool. It shows how competent and like evil C-3PO can be. I thought it was pretty neat. But Vader, he's like, we gotta fucking find, Luke Skywalker or someone here, and he continues walking. Eventually, Han and Luke and Han, Leia, and C-3PO, R2-D2 is with Luke at the time. But Han, C-3PO, and Leia, they board the Falcon, but they can't fucking get this thing moving. It's not going. There's too much fucking wrong with it at this point. It's like, God damn, we can't get this thing off the ground. And eventually, chat, they see all these Imperial snow troopers coming out, and they're setting up all these E-Web blaster cans. They're about to fire in the Falcon. He activates some button shit. He activates the Falcon's turret system, and starts taking all these guys out. Thankfully, they finally get it going. And right when Vader steps, he's like, the Falcon, perfect. But he sees the fucking Falcon blast off. He's like, shit. God damn it. He's just pissed. He's like, we're going to fucking pursue this thing for months. And we see the Falcon blast off, Chad, go into, up, passes by all of these mountainous, snowy mountains and stuff. And Luke sees it take off while he's walking to, like, one of the secret locations where he loads up in his X-Wing and he plugs little R2-D2 in it. And, they're about to, all right, let's fucking take off. And they take off. And R2 is like beeping and bopping and booping, asking, okay, are we going to meet up with like the rebels? And Luke says, no, we're going to go find this Master Yoda from Ben Kenobi. And R2's like, Luke, you had hypothermia. How do you know that was real? I know it's real, R2-D2. You just got to have faith. We got to find Master Yoda in the Dagobah system. R2's like, I I don't know if I want to do that. It's like, we're going to do it. He's like, okay. And they hyperspace away. Meanwhile, chat, we cut the Millennium Falcon, and they're having some issues because they're being pursued by the Imperial fleet, chat. They're like the only transport the rebels, the Imperials lost track of all the other rebel transports. They fucked up. But we're going to get that goddamn YT-1300 Corellian Corvette. You bet your ass we will. And they're shooting at the Millennium Falcon. And Han's like, don't worry. I punched in the coastal hyperdrive. We are fucking good. We got this. But then when he fucking activates, like, punch it, Chewie. Punches it, and nothing. He's like, I fixed it. It's not my fault. I fixed it. She's like, are you kidding me? And he's like, I mean, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what to do. As they're being pursued by the Imperial fleet. And eventually he's like, oh my God, this is awful. Well, what the hell are we going to do? And, all these TIE fighters come after their chat. They're blasting them, but, it's taking a toll on their energy shields and their armor plating. And thankfully, as they continue forward, because, Han's like, you fucking fly. Leia, you goddamn fly of C-3PO. And C-3PO's like, I can't fly. He's like, I don't care. And he goes in the back with Chewie trying to repair this fucking thing. Trying to put this together. It's the Falcon's on fire is just like, oh no, this is not good. Eventually when like Chewie, he's giving like Han all these tools to repair the Falcon. He puts this tool set right next to him, and they hear this boom, like this massive thing hits the Falcon, and the tool kit falls and hits Han the head. He's like, Chewie! He's like, what the hell just hit us? That wasn't laser. That wasn't a laser fire. And he gets up. And he's like, what was that? Leia's like, Han, come here. He's like, okay, I'll be right there. And him and Chewie, they run back, and they see that the Falcon is inside of an asteroid field. And we get one of the best space chases ever, I think, in Star Wars history, where we see the fucking Falcon flying through this thing as he's being pursued. As the ship is being pursued by these two or three TIE fighters. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful fucking scene. I mean, it's ducking and weaving. We see like we see one of the TIE fighters flying, chat, shooting, and he gets hit by a fucking random asteroid. We see the guy go, ah! He burns alive and is asphyxiated in the cold, dark unfeelingness of space. It's awesome. You see the Falcon dive down towards this this much larger, huge asteroid. It looks like a fucking moon. Looks like a planetoid almost. And it's like when we come to this very large crevasse, chat, this very thick crevasse, and the Falcon's flying. He's like, oh shit, I have to flip. He has to flip it, so he has to fly vertically, chat. While these TIE fighters are like, oh no, and they hit each other, chat, explosions, and the Falcon just gets out of this gust of just fire and flame, and a molten armor just blasts out right behind them. And Han's like, all right, we gotta fucking take a break. I gotta take a break. I gotta relax. Let's fucking land this goddamn thing. Jesus Christ. And so he puts it right. He sees like a giant fucking hole in the asteroid. He's like, we're gonna go down there. And C-3PO's like, is that safe? He's like, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. They fly inside the hole, chat, and they land. Meanwhile, we cut back to Luke Skywalker. Good old Luke Skywalker, chat. And he's made it to the Dagobah system, and he's like, R2, can you scan the planet? And R2's beeping and bopping and booping. He's like, yeah, Luke, listen, I'm not seeing any, technologically advanced things down there. And he's like, yeah, no, I can see that. But apparently a lot of biological life forms. And R2's like, hey, listen, you think it's safe for me down there? Luke's like, it's perfectly safe for droids. Immediately cut to one of the worst fucking landings I've ever seen. Just like, oh, as they're going through this thick fog, chat, and mist. It's messing with the X-Wing's turbines, chat, with the wings. And Luke's like, oh, shit. R2's like, I fucking told you it's not safe for me. And eventually they just fucking crash. He doesn't know where he's landing. He doesn't know where the ground or the air is at this point, chat. The smog and the thick fog is just too much for them. And they crash land what looks like in some kind of bog in a swamp. And he opens the fucking canopy of the X-Wing. He's looking around. And you can just imagine, chat, this is the fart planet. This whole planet just feels like it would smell like ass. Like swamp ass, chat. You have been sitting in the same underwear and shorts or something for 3 to 4 days. And you just haven't gotten up once, chat. It's like, yeah. This smells like swamp ass. This is a swamp ass planet. And Luke's like, oh, Jesus. R2's like, what the fuck? This place is awful. I hate it here. And Luke, he grabs some tools and he jumps from his X-Wing. He's not getting that out of the fucking the swamp, the bog swamp, chat. And he jumps over. He's looking around. And R2's like, hey, hey, catch me, catch me. It looks like R2-D2. He's like, ah. And he does like a Chris Tucker squeal, chat, as he falls into the water. It's like, R2, why didn't you use your jetpacks from Attack of the Clones, R2? As we all know, chat, Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala, they spent some time on Tatooine, but they got a hold of Obi-Wan Kenobi's signal from Geonosis, chat, because Geonosis, as we all know, is less than a parsec away from Tatooine. Okay, and so like we gotta go fucking rescue Ben Kenobi. When they go to Geonosis, chat, they uncover the droid factory because of the combined strength of the Techno Union and Trade Federation and Banking Clan, chat. They put all the resources together to create a massive droid army on Geonosis, right? And so when they get in the factory, when all the fucking hubbubaloo starts happening, chat, R2's like, well, I gotta help my friends, and he has jetpacks. So why isn't the jetpacks here, R2? Where are your goddamn jetpacks? Apparently they were taken out of him, chat, which I find highly fucking suspect, but okay. Sure. Anyway, he falls in the water, but thankfully it's not too deep, chat, because he has this little fucking boop. He's got this little, like, robot eye that pokes out, and he's, like, you know, going towards the bank. And Luke's like, you silly little droid. He's like, fuck you. I hate it here. But then, we see this giant slug with, like, the fin of this giant, like, slug fish creature come out of the water. And it's like right near R2-D2. And all of a sudden, chat, it's like Jaws, because the thing grabs a hold of R2-D2. He's like, he's just dragging him along the water. Imagine, chat, the scene from the opening of Jaws, probably the best scene in the movie, where you have that blonde bombshell being dragged by the shark, chat, like in the dead of night. Imagine that, except if it was R2-D2 beeping and bopping and booping. The translation would be like, oh, fuck, it's eating me. It's eating me. And it eats him, chat. It eats him. And Luke's like, R2! And silence, chat. All we hear, because the thing, like, can't digest him, chat, because he's all mechanical and shit. And R2 goes, eh! And he hits the fucking tree, chat, and lands down there. He's like, oh my God, I hate it here. You lied to me. And Luke's like, you're okay. You're okay. He's like, I'm not okay. This place is awful. And he just starts cleaning him up. He's like, you just got a little mud. You got a little mud in you. He's just like, "Wah." And like R2's just vomiting mud the entire time. Wah. He's like, oh, this place might not be safe for droids. Hopefully we can find Jedi Master Yoda. R2's like, fuck that frog, man. I hate him. I know who he is. I could have told you who he was. Why doesn't R2-D2 recognize Yoda, Chad? I ask you. He's like, yeah, that guy's a piece of shit. He's not a very good Jedi Master. The fucking Jedi Council fell. The Jedi Order fell during the reign of the Empire on his watch. Anyway, chat, we cut back to the Falcon, okay? And Han and Chewie and Leia, they're trying to repair the Falcon, chat. The hyperdrive's not working. The whole ship's fucking falling apart. And Han at this point is like, all right, C-3PO, you will not shut the fuck up for once. So I'm going to plug you into the Falcon, and you're going to ask it, what the hell's going on? 3PO's like, okay. And so they plug 3PO in. And this is funny because 3PO is like, yeah, well, apparently the hyperdrive is all messed up. You got to do this, this, and this. And the ship is very rude, by the way. And it's funny because we realize that in Solo, chat, that like Lando's droid, which I don't, the sassy droid, the one who was like, death to humans, long live the machines, be free, my brother. She's like the emancipation droid. Like they uploaded her programming, they uploaded her into the ship. And so she's still in there to this day. And I like that she's just being really sassy and rude to C-3PO, which I think that's kind of funny. He's like, put the professor in the back. Such a great goddamn line. Meanwhile, Leia, she's repairing all the ship and stuff, doing certain things. Han comes in there. He's like, hey, I can help you. He like goes to like help her with this thing. She just fucking pushes him. She elbows him. He's like, whoa, take it easy, princess. I'm just here to help. And she's like, stop calling me that. Stop calling me. He's like, okay, your majesty. And she's like, you are just the fucking worst. He's like, how am I the worst? Okay, because you're patronizing, you're rude, you're always coming on to me. And he's like, yeah, is that what I'm doing? And he's like, he takes her hand. He's like, don't touch me there. And she's like, why? I just want to make sure you're doing okay. He's like, I'm fine. He goes, like, you're trembling. She goes, yeah, because you're so close to me. He goes, yeah, I am pretty close. You want to make out? And they're just about to smooch, Chad. This happened. This is a toxic relation, by the way. Han and Leia, they were never meant to be together. It just does not work out in hindsight. Based on what we learn, we learn. But they're just about to smooch. And C-3PO comes in. You know what? I just had a great talk of the ship. And let me tell you, I figured this out. We can improve all these systems. And Han's like, can you see we're about to initiate smooching and sex right now, 3PO? He's like, I don't know what that is. He's like, ooh. And eventually Leia, she just leaves. And he's like, oh, my God, I had an opportunity. It was so close. I was so close. He's very upset by it, chat. Very upset. At this point, we cut to the Imperial fleet. And Vader, he is still pursuing, you know, Han and Leia, the Falcon in general, chat. And he's, you know, I love it because we cut to these 3 Imperial captains that Vader is talking to, and we notice from the outside this one Star Destroyer is hit by an asteroid. And right when that Star Destroyer is hit by an asteroid, we see the guy go, so I guess he's fucking dead. I guess he fucking died. But these guys are like, listen, we're going to continue the patrols, continue the bombing. We know that clearly they're not hyper-driving away. They might be doing repairs right now, but we know that they're still in the asteroid field. Vader's like, fucking good. Make sure you're fine. And we are not leaving this asteroid field until we find it. I don't care how many people die. I don't care. I have the highest turnover rate in the Empire. Yes, Vader, because you keep killing people. Stop it. Jesus Christ. But eventually, Admiral Piet, he walks over, he says, hey, Vader, Lord Vader, the Emperor's calling. He wants to talk to you via space Skype. He's like, fucking take me out of the asteroid field. I want a clear signal to talk to my main man, Papa Palpatine. And so then we cut to Vader. He goes to his little meditation room, chat, and he gets down on one knee, And what do we see, chat? What's the image we see in the hologram? Papa Palpatine himself. He's like, Vader, how you doing? He's like, I'm trying to hunt for the Falcon. He's like, cool. You know, this Luke Skywalker guy, he's very dangerous. He's very dangerous. Vader's like, I mean, he's just a boy, but he's like, yes, but he's powerful in the Force. And I think that he is the son of Anakin Skywalker. And Vader's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, man. Do you remember Padme? Remember Padme, Manda Panda? Remember when you knocked her up? And, you know, you choked her a lot. Remember that? He goes, I might recall that. He's like, yeah, man, she was pregnant, so maybe this is the kid. He's like, I guess so. He's like, listen, I'm going to cut to the fucking chase. If he could destroy us, you know, if he gets too powerful. I mean, we're only 2 Sith Lords. It's kind of the reason why we survive, because we live in secret. But at the same time, we're very vulnerable constantly, right? And so if the Jedi rise and take us out, the Sith Order is done, my man. It won't be good. So, or we can either kill him, or we could turn him. He could become a powerful ally, right? Vader's like, yeah, we can make him a very powerful ally. And Palpatine's like, yeah, man, you think you can do that? And he's like, of course. And he's like, well, you think you cannot? Then he will fucking die, my man. She's like, I love that. I love that gumption you got, Vader. Okay, man. Well, you go ahead and space call me next time, and let me know when you get Luke or when you kill him. Okay, sound good? He's like, yep, sound good. All right, bye. I'll see you in the next movie. And then Papa Palpatine is out, chat. Now, interesting with this. In the original Empire Strikes Back, chat, the Emperor's face. This is long before they cast Ian McDiarmid. I forget the original voice of the guy. But for the face, for the hologram, they used the eyes of a monkey and the face of a woman, which is very fucking weird. And then they had the guy just dub over. And then they did the special edition in 2004, and they had like new dialogue for this, and that's when they brought in Ian McDiarmid. You could tell this was like later, because Ian McDiarmid, like the makeup of Ian McDiarmid in Return of the Jedi looks so fucking good. He looks like an old man. And for whatever reason, they couldn't replicate that same look in the prequels, and he just looks so bloated and rubbery, and he looks bloated and rubbery here. I guess that's, you know, one of the new additions to Empire. But it's just always weird to me, like, why did that makeup look so goddamn good in 1983, but in 2005 it looks like shit? I don't understand that. It's always been weird to me. All the butter noodles, because all the butter noodles he's been eating. Clearly. Elaine Baker, Rick Baker's wife. Oh, that's awesome. We got a little fun fact there for you, chat. And Vader's like, okay, I'll get him. He'll join us or die, Papa Palpatine. That's what I'll do. Now, speaking of the person who may or may not die, chat, Luke Skywalker, we see that he's kind of set up shop on Dagobah. He's managed to get some supplies out of the X-Wing, chat, made himself a little campsite. R2-D2 is still mad at him, still like coughing up mud and dirt and little organisms and shit. And Luke, he's just sitting himself down to enjoy a nice little meal of Star Wars Lunchables. Because this food he's eating looks like shit. It looks like a whole bunch of freeze-dried like peanuts and all that. And these weird little, I don't know what they look like, jerky. It's all freeze-dried Star Wars food. I'm shocked that Lunchables hasn't teamed up with Lucasfilm and Disney to release that pack of like food that Luke ate on Dagobah. It feels like it would be obvious, but yeah, fair enough. He's eating all his food. Like, oh, for whatever reason, R2, this place seems familiar. First of all, why does this place seem familiar to you? They never really answer that. Like, okay, we're going to see in the next trilogy why this seems familiar. No, I don't think. And, you know, it's funny. I think, I remember when I was a kid, I always thought that maybe Dagobah is actually, is it Naboo? Is this like Naboo was like, it fell into anarchy and the planet was ravaged by the Empire and they like abandoned the planet and it became, and Naboo became Dagobah? That would make sense to me. Like, that would be kind of cool if that's what it was. Like, what if in the Star Wars prequels chat, we cut to Dagobah, but it's this lush, beautiful world, right? But then in the prequels, it's you know, because that's what it is. And we realize this lush, beautiful world chat is Dagobah. But we know, like, what Dagobah looks like, it's the swamp-ass planet. What happened? And then we see maybe the results of that throughout the prequel trilogy. But we don't. So I have no fucking clue why he says, this, you know what, this place is familiar. It's like, why? How do you know this? Oh, yeah, the MRE are kind of known for being bad. Fair enough. I didn't shoot. 100 base. Thank you, Ian McDermott joke. He's 35 when he made you. That's true. And was the right age to play Senator Palpatine fan. Yeah, because he aged like, what, 20 years at the very least. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Nearly 20 years. But at that point, so he's eating, but you know what's another thing, R2? It feels like, and he's like, whoa, and he takes his pistol out, he's pointing at this little small goblin creature, like we're being watched, and this little thing's like, whoa, lower your weapon, I will bring you no harm, and he's like, who the hell are you? He's like, me? I live here. This is my home. And he's like, well, what the hell do you want? And he's like, I want to mess with your shit. Because then this little goblin man just starts like coming up on him and is like, hey, listen, I want to touch some stuff. And he just starts poking R2-D2. He starts eating the lunch, the Star Wars Lunchables. And Luke's like, stop eating that. Stop doing. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, I like it. And then he starts like going inside the little toolkit, starts like throwing shit like, no, shit, I hate it. And he finds like a little flash and he goes, ooh, and he starts glowing. He's like, well, what are you doing? And he's like, Luke reaches for it. He goes, no, this is mine. Or help you, I will not. Help me. You're fucking bothering me. What are you going to help me? He's like, I'll help you find who you're looking for. I was like, how do you know that? And then R2 like reaches out with his little like, his little pincers and tries grabbing like, and he's like, the little goblin man's like, no, mine. Like hit him with his cane. It's adorable, chat. And he's like, Luke's like, R2, just let him have it. R2 lets go. And the little goblin man's like, he hits the thing. And he's like, well, listen, little man, I'm trying to find a great and powerful Jedi Master. Do you know who he is? He's like, you speak of Yoda. Yes, I know him. You're like, you know Yoda? He's like, yes, powerful Jedi Master is he. I will help you. But first, food. We eat. Not eat that bullshit. That shit sucks. And it's like, okay. Mogi, think with the bees. Hey, how's it going, my man? I'm doing well, Mogi. Happy to have you here. Currently doing my scene by scene breakdown to Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. And so then Luke just like tells R2, he's like, all right, R2, you stay here, guard this. I'm going to go follow this little goblin man. And we just see this little guy just waddling back. I'm like, I would never follow this guy into the swamp-ass planet. He's like, come. First we must eat, then Jedi Master we will find the one you seek. And they continue onwards. I'm like, I'm a little concerned by that. I don't feel really comfortable. After that, chat, we cut back to the Millennium Falcon. And Han is still doing some repairs on the Falcon. He goes up to the cockpit, tries to talk to Leia. But Leia, she's not having it. They're kind of arguing back and forth. And he's just like, all right, listen, I'm we're going to have to get out of here sooner or later. And C-3PO is like, listen, I think at this point we should just fucking surrender. We should definitely just surrender. And it's like, shut the fuck up. I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you, okay? And it's like, I'm going to go check in this one system. I'll be right back. And so he goes out, and then Leia's just kind of sitting there. But then all of a sudden she sees something. She's looking outside the cockpit, and she notices something just goes right by, like someone flies by. She's like, what the fuck? And she looks closer and then goes, wah! And it's this big sucker thing, like this little bat with a big, like, mouth sucking on the Millennium Falcon's cockpit. And she's like, ooh, Han, get up here. And he's like, what is it? What is it? She's like, this thing. He's like, ah, shit. Okay, let's go outside. Let's go outside. Here, let's put these breather masks on. And so they go outside. They put the breathers mask on, chap. They go out there, and they see all these giant fucking things fly back, and Han and Chewie are like, ah! And they start blasting these things, and they fall down. C-3PO, he's freaking the fuck out because he sees us in the cockpit, like, oh, no, go away, go away, go away. And Han shoots it. Eventually it falls down, and he goes, ah, yep, I figured, Minox. They're always fucking going after, the power cables. Chewie, make sure that the power converters are okay. Power converters reference, chat, in Empire Strikes Back, okay? Did he get them from Anchorhead, like Luke Skywalker? Probably so, chat. Anchorhead was the only place in the galaxy that had power converters, as we know. And then, but as they're moving around, like Leia's like noticing, this place doesn't feel like rock at all. It feels like warm and squishy. And Han's like, yeah, you're right. And then all of a sudden it starts moving. It's like, what the hell was it? Is that an earthquake? Is the asteroid falling apart? And Han's like, wait a minute. And he shoots into the ground ship, and it moves again. And he's like, holy shit! They do the whole Star Trek like, I was like, get back on board, get back on board. And so they all get back on board at this point. They get to the cockpit, and, we're taking off right fucking now. I don't care what it is. We can't repair the hyperdrives. Fine, fuck it. We're moving. And he turns the Falcon around. He starts going straight to the exit chat, but they see it's fucking closing. And C-3PO was like, oh, we'll never make it. And Leia's like, oh my God, the cave is collapsing. Han's like, this is no cave. And he flies out of this thing, and he flies out of the mouth of a giant space slug, chat. This thing is huge. And it was like, whoa. What a great reveal that they flew into the dragon, chat, of Star Wars. A space slug dragon. Look at how it goes, oh, it tries to bite the Millennium Falcon's like, damn it. And it goes back in its little hidey-ho. And eventually, at this point, we cut to Lord Vader. He's like, all right, okay, I can't just do this myself. I need to bring in the big guns, chat. And we see Admiral Pietti's talking to his boys, and we see a lineup. He stares up in disgust, chat, as he's talking to all of his Imperial, privates and captains and things. And who does he fucking see standing up there, chat? We see Dengar. We see IG-88. We see Zuckuss. We see Forlom, we see Bosk, and we see the main man, chat, the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy, Boba Fett. We see Boba Fett up there, chat. And, Admiral Piett, he's like, bounty hunters, we don't need this scum. And Bosk is like, hey, fuck you, man, I'm right here. I don't know what Bosk said, but Bosk was none too pleased by Admiral Piet's comment. He's like, he's like, oh, and he runs away. And Vader's like, listen, you will be heavily compensated for the acquisition of the Millennium Falcon. But I want to let you guys know one thing, Boba Fett. No disintegrations. Boba Fett's like, why do you have to single me out? Okay? Yes, I like to disintegrate people maybe more than Dengar or IG-88. Fuck you, by the way. I love that IG-88 and Boba Fett had this big fucking rivalry in the expanded universe. Like, they hated each other. So Boba Fett was pissed they had to stand next to IG-88. But he's like, hey, man, Vader, we're like friends and stuff. Mutual work acquaintances. Why you gotta single me out? He's like, no disintegrations. As you wish. Fine. Now, in the special editions, they, of course, had, in the original one, the 97 one, they did not change out the original voice of Boba Fett. In the 2004 editions, they changed it to Tamura Morrison, chat, because as we learn in the prequels, Boba Fett is a clone of his father, of his pappy, Jango Fett, chat. And thankfully, we've seen Boba Fett do a lot more cooler things in the Star Wars, franchise since his debut in Empire, chat. Like, and especially in the Mandalorian season 2. Love what they do with him. We're getting the fucking spin-off Mandalorian series, the Book of Boba Fett, with Tamira Morrison coming in there as King Boba Fett. Cannot wait for that. But when this character debuted, well, this was his live action debut. He previously showed up in the Star Wars Holiday Special. The only good thing about that Holiday Special, chat, as a bounty hunter who manipulates Luke Skywalker and tries to capture him and Han Solo and take him to Darth Vader in between the events of A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, this character, like Boba Fett, I think has a total of maybe like 30 words spoken across maybe it's like 13 words spoken across the entire trilogy. But I love him, Chad. I love him. I love Boba Fett. He looks great here. But after he's done talking to all the bounty hunters, he gets a call from Admiral Piet saying, "My lord, we found him." Bounty hunters are like, "So should we just leave?" Because that's just weird to me. Like, I want you to track down the Millennium Falcon, but then Admiral Piet comes up behind Vader. He's like, hey, we actually found the Falcon. And Vader'd be like, "Okay, guys, I guess I don't really need you anymore." I'd be like, "Well, fuck you, man. You brought us here for nothing." I would have been pissed, Chad. I would have been pissed if I was Forlom or Zuckuss. No one cares about Forlom or Zuckuss, Chad. It's too bad. And then we cut to the Millennium Falcon. They're being pursued by the Imperial Star Destroyer Avenger, chat. I believe the original Star Destroyer that was the flagship of Vader in A New Hope. And this thing is fucking flying around trying to avoid a chat, but they're getting too close. Eventually, Han's like, I gotta pull something off. And Imperial's like, "Listen, I really think we should revisit the whole idea of giving up and surrender to the Empire. I'm sure they'll treat us well." And at this point, he's like, "Fucking turn him off." Turn him the fuck off. And they're like, boop. They turn him off. And he's like, "All right, here we fucking go." And they fly towards this goddamn Star Destroyer. And, see through Hebrew boots all. It's like, oh! It's horrifying what we're going to experience. And they fly right at this thing. They go right over them. And at this point, the Captain Nina's like, "Oh, shit, they're good. They're moving into attack position. They're going to attack us." But they fly right overhead. And at this point, like, "Where the fuck are they?" Bring them up on scanners. He's like, "Sir, they're gone." He's like, "What do you mean they're gone?" "What do you mean they're fucking gone?" And he's like, they're not there. He's like, "There's no way a ship that small can have a cloaking device." And then we have another guy saying, "Sir, Lord Vader is requesting an update on your pursuit of the Millennium Falcon." And Captain Nina's like, prepare my shuttle. I'm going to speak to Lord Vader personally and apologize to him for losing the Millennium Falcon. I'll see all you guys in a bit. All right, bye everybody, bye. Then, chat, we later cut back. We later cut to what is it? Are we at that scene? Oh yes, yeah, we're at that scene. So we cut to good old Darth Vader, and we hear Captain Nina going as he's choking to death, and he falls down dead. And we hear Vader says, "Apology accepted, Captain Nina," as he walks away. And they just take his fucking body. And it's like, yeah, you give me, at least he apologized. I like that. But he's like, I'm still like, "I appreciate the apologies. You must die." And he still fucking kills him. Admiral Piet goes up to him. He's like, "Listen, we have no idea where the Millennium Falcon is. I'm, requesting that we disperse the fleet and try to find them." And Vader's like, "You track down any possible way they could have gone. Maybe they fixed the hyperdrive. If that is indeed the case, whatever their familiar past may have been, we've got to find them, okay? We got to do this now." And I'm like, "Yes, sir, yes, sir." Meanwhile, we cut outside the Star Destroyers, and we see on board the Avenger, the fucking Millennium Falcon has attached itself to the back, blending in. No one is aware that the Falcon is among the Imperial fleet. And at this point, 3PO's like, "Oh, you're fucking crazy. This is never going to work." Even Leia's like, "I've never seen something as hairballed as this." And it's like, "Yeah, but it fucking worked, doesn't it? It's pretty goddamn good." He's like, "Listen, now according to Imperial, orders. Before they go ahead and go into hyperspace, they will shit out their garbage. And so once they poop out their garbage, we'll just float away with the rest of the trash. Doesn't that sound great?" And 3PO's like, "I really believe we should just kind of fucking give up. That sounds like much better to me." And it's like, "Shut him off again. Shut him off again." And they shut him off again, Chad's like, "I'm tired of you, 3PO." And he's like, "Well, where the hell are we going to go?" He's like, "Let's look at, some local systems." And they look up some systems and like, "Do you know the Hoth system very well?" She's like, "Other than Hoth, no." And he's like, "All right, no. Lando. The Lando system? No, Lando's not a system. It's not a planet. It's a man." He's a swindler, a rogue, a criminal. You love him. and she goes like, is he a friend of yours? Yeah, he's a friend of mine, kind of. At least last time I saw him. Kind of a friend. Chat, we cut back 15 or like 10 years ago, chat, where we are introduced to Han Solo. Let's give you a little flashback, chat. I will now start my review for Solo here. I will get back to Empire Strikes Back in about 2 hours, chat. So the movie opens up and we see the all-important dice that Han Solo has placed upon his stolen land speeder. Rian Johnson, no one gives a shit about the dice. I didn't even know they were on the Falcon. No one cares. But he is driving his land speeder, chat, through the streets of Corellia, chat, okay? He should not have stolen this, but he needs to get the fucking money so him and Daenerys Targaryen can get off the fucking planet, chat, because Corellia apparently sucks. Really sucks. And so eventually he's outrunning these guys and he parks the fucking thing and he's like, all right, I gotta get out of here. And the big fucking explosion is not going well. He goes into the bowels, the sewer systems of Corellia, chat, where he meets up with Daenerys Targaryen. They give a nice little smooch, and he's like, listen, I got enough credits. I also have my dice. Isn't this great? I have my dice. No, Rian Johnson was the one who originally originally said the dice are important. They're not fucking important. Why are you giving the dice to Leia and then giving the dice to Adam Driver? Why? I don't get it. I was like, it was just weird. And for whatever reason, the Star Wars Lucasfilm said the dice are important for some reason. It's like, okay. Oh, we're really doing this. You thought I was bluffing? You thought I was joking? You don't know me. You don't know me, Mecha Howard Stern. So, no, I'm joking. So eventually he meets up with fucking Billy D. Williams, who was played, Orlando, who was played by a very young and dapper-looking Donald Glover, chat, but that's that whole relationship. I imagine this is what he's referring to, possibly. We don't know. But no, we cut back to Millennium Falcon. He's saying, yeah, I used to know him. I fucking even won the Falcon from him in a card game. And she goes, cool, you think he'd help us? Yeah, he owes me a favor. He owes me a favor. I make her say, oh, yes, I do know you, buddy. Cheers. He owes me a favor, so we should be good. And so I was like, oh, here they go. The fucking Star Destroyer's pooping. So the Star Destroyer starts pooping, chat. Thank God. And so they just detach and go, whoa, and they just float away up the trash until all the Star Destroyers, one by one, go off into hyperspace. He's like, all right, let's fucking go to the Bespin. Apparently, that's what Lando did, chat. He obtained a gas mine on the gas giant of Bespin, chat, and he is now acting as its administrator. He is Administrator Lando Calrissian. And see, he flies away, chat, but someone's pretty fucking crafty, chat. Someone knew Han Solo would pull that shit because we see Boba Fett, chat. We see Slave One pursue the Millennium Falcon, chat. He's like, I know you fucking Solo, I know. We do see a couple extra shots of the Slave One, chat. Like, you know, you hear the sound like, whoa, like what we heard from, like, Mandalorian and also, Attack the Clones. Like, they just wanted to do, like, more glory shots of the Slave, which I liked. But Boba Fett's like, oh, I fucking got him. He's already telling Vader, it's like, yeah, he's gonna go see Lando, man. You should probably go see him right there. And Vader's like, Boba Fett, that's why you're the best. That's where you're best. But please do not disintegrate anyone. I'm not gonna do that. Jesus. Eventually, though, Chad, we cut back to Dagobah. We cut back to Swamp-Ass World, where Luke is inside this very small home of the Green Goblin Man. And the Green Goblin Man's like, listen, I'm going to feed you. I want to feed you, I will. And he's like, I would really just like to go see Yoda. He's like, patience. We will see Yoda first. Food. Good food. And he like, but like, after like Yoda is like feeding Luke, or you know, the little Green Goblin Man is feeding Luke, we see R2-D2 just outside, like in the pouring rain, looking like a sad puppy. He's like, I would like to come inside. And Yoda's like, I heard you talking that shit about me. No. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, no, don't come inside. He looks so fucking sad. But then we cut back inside the little domicile, and Yoda, he's just eating away, having a good time. And Luke's like, listen, so you've seen this all-powerful Jedi Master? He's like, oh, yes, Yoda. Very strong, very powerful in the Force. Taught your father? He's like, wait, my father's like, yes, powerful Jedi was he? He's like, you don't fucking know my dad. This is bullshit. We're wasting my time. I gotta get out of here. And then all of a sudden, Yoda, the little Green Goblin Man's like, I've had enough of your shit. I am done with this. He's like, wait, what? Train him? I cannot. Dude is stubborn. And we hear this fucking voice come out of nowhere. He's like, listen, Yoda, Ben Kenobi, by the way, I know he's a little rough around the edges, but he's our only hope. And Yoda's like, he is too old to begin the trials. And Luke's like, wait a minute, you're Yoda? Yoda's like, yes, appearances can be deceiving. He's like, oh man, listen, I'm really sorry. He's like, yeah, I know you are. And he's like, Ben, just tell him I'm ready. And, you know, this one get like a weird line here where Yoda's like, he's too stubborn, too strong-headed. And Ben Kenobi's like, wasn't I as a Padawan when you trained me? It's like, you didn't train him, Yoda. It was Qui-Gon, whatever. And he's like, he's our only hope. And Luke's like, I could do it. Ben, tell him I'm ready. He hits his head on top of the house. And Yoda's, yeah, you're not ready. No, you're not ready. You are going to face so many fucking struggles on your journey ahead, okay? And Luke's like, I can do it. And Leo's like, there are so many things that you will fear. And he's like, Luke's like, I'm not afraid. And then Yoda gets really creepy here. He goes, you will be. You will be. It's like, oh. Why'd he get so creepy? By the way, Yoda played so well by Frank Oz, chat. Absolutely incredible. Eventually, chat, we cut to one of Yoda and Luke's little training sessions. They're going through chat. They're doing flippy jumps. Like all the Jedi flippy jumps. You see all the Jedi flippy jumps right here, chat. We see Luke swinging on vines like Shia LaBeouf and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's just going great. And they're having a fucking blast. But eventually Luke's like, I need a fucking break. I'm so tired. By the way, I don't know the passage of time in this movie, how long it's been, because we cut back to like Han and Luke and Vader like constantly, but you don't really know how long Luke is on Dagobah and how long Han and Leia and all the rest of them are on the run. I get the sense that maybe it's like a couple weeks. I don't know. I've always wondered about that. It was a month in the book. Okay, so it's a month. That makes sense. I'm glad you pointed that out. Thank you. Makes sense. Thank you, Meg Howard Stern. And so, Luke's like, I need to fucking break all the Jedi flippy jumps. And Yoda's like, you did one Jedi flippy jump. We could fucking leap buildings in a single bound. We might as well have been Superman. He's like, I'm sorry. I can't do that. He's like, in my day, Jedi were doing all sorts of flippy jumps and force moves and force fast forwards and shit. It's crazy. We had all sorts of, we swing the lightsabers around like a baton. You carry around like it's a fucking sword. The stark contrast to like the force powers in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy is vast. But it's like, all right, we'll go with it. At this point, Luke's like, he senses something now. He's like, hey, what's down there? And Yoda's like, yeah, it's the evil dark side cave. And he's like, that doesn't sound good. He's like, no, it doesn't. And Luke's like, I'm going to go check it out. Yoda's like, I don't know if you should do that. He's like, I'm going to go. And he like grabs his weapons. Yoda's like, your weapons, you will not need them. And Luke's like, well, what's in there? Only what you take with you. And Luke's like, I'm going to take my weapons. Yoda's like, all right, whatever the fuck. You're not going to listen to me anyway. And so then Luke goes into the cave, Chad. He goes into the cave. And he's like looking around and shit. He's looking around and he's like trying to find, like, what the hell is this thing that I'm sensing that I'm feeling? It just feels very goddamn odd. And eventually, as he goes in there, it gets all slow-mo, gets all weird. We hear this amazing music. And who fucking walks out of there? Vader. He's like, hi, I'm going to kill you. And Luke's like, ooh. And Luke activates his fucking lightsaber, and Vader activates his. And they start fighting a little lightsaber duel, chat. They start going at it. And Luke's like, he gets one good lucky swing, chat, and he decapitates Darth Vader. Movie over, chat. No. Not over, Shay. It's not really what happened. Because then Luke, when he looks down at the helmet of Vader, as the helmet comes to a stop, it explodes. And what does he see inside the helmet, chat? Not the face of Vader, no. His own face, symbolism, chat, because he too can be consumed by the dark side. Like Darth Vader. It's like when Luke questions Yoda later on in the movie. He says, is the dark side stronger? And Yoda says, no, faster, You have you crave power, but no, it is not stronger. But that is the possibility if he succumbs to that. He succumbs to that lust for power. Then he could become like Darth Vader. Chat symbolism. Apparently, audiences when they saw this, they didn't understand it. I think it's kind of. It's like poetry. It rhymes. It rhymes, Chaz, like what George Lucas says. And eventually, Luke, he gets out of the cave, and he's like, I saw some weird fucking shit. And Yoda's like, you fucked up. Yeah, you fucked up. You didn't need to bring your weapons in there, okay? All right? And he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, yeah, you should be sorry. Eventually, though, Chad, we cut back to the Imperial fleet, and we see some creepy shit. Because Admiral Piet, he wants to give a report to Darth Vader on the possible whereabouts of the Falcon, and they're pursuing all of their ends, and we gets into like Darth Vader's little meditation chamber. Now they put this scene in here because because hey, we want to show like what Vader looks like under the helmet. I mean, they did want to do that, but it was for a very specific reason. So when the original Star Wars came out, audiences all assumed that a lot of people assumed that he was just a robot, which I guess technically he's part robot, but they just assumed that he was just a robot. And so they wanted people to know that, no, there actually is a man underneath there. And so when you see Admiral Piet walk in, he's like, oh, shit. It's like Vader's like, I'm not ready yet. I haven't put on my makeup. And we see like his back of his skull with that huge fucking scar right there as the helmet comes down. And Vader just like, it's so awkward. It's so you could cut the tension with a goddamn knife, chat, because Vader just turns around his little meditation chamber chair. He's like, "What did you see?" He's like, "I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. Did you didn't see my gross white scabby head?" No. He's like, "Why did you come in here for?" I don't even remember at this point. I'm just gonna leave. Yeah, you should leave. And so he just goes away. It's creepy Annie, chat. I didn't kill just the men, but the women and the children too. I hate them. They're animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. So, very, very awkward. Vader was pooping. Maybe he was pooping. He's like, it's that kind of poop chat where you're like, oh, I just need to take all my clothes off. I need to take everything off, and you're just pooping. You just gotta be in the element, chat. I don't want anything touching my skin. Just me and the toilet. Let's go to town. That's what Vader was all about. He was just about to poop. It was too much for him. Eventually, though, they're like, okay, well, we gotta cut back to good old, Han and Leia and C-3PO and Chewbacca. And so we cut to Bespin, chat. Or they're flying in, but then they're accosted by two Cloud City patrolmen, chat. These two cloud cars. First of all, these guys are very fucking aggressive because Han's explained to them, listen, I know the Baron Administrator, Lando Calrissian. If I can just talk to him, they're like, we'll put you down on a landing platform. He goes, okay, that's great. And they fucking shoot at him. And he's like, whoa, what's going on? And he's like, well, you want to make sure that we mean fucking business? He's like, okay, I'm sorry. And they fly down there, chat. Beautiful fucking glory shots of Cloud City. I always love this location, chat. It's just so interesting to me. But they fly down there. They land on the landing platform. And Leia's like, are you sure this guy's your friend? And he's like, yeah. And then we see like this fucking door open up and they come down like the Millennium Falcon. They're waiting out there. And we see fucking Lando with his buddy Lobot, chat. Lobot's here, thank God. Love Lobot. And like, Lando walks up to him and Han, walks up to him. And Lando's like, you fucking pulling this shit? You coming here after pulling the fucking shit that you did to me years ago? Oh, you got balls, Han. You got balls. And Han's like, me? And Lando just gets right in his face and is like, whoa. And Han's like, huh? And then Lando says, ha ha! And he starts hugging him. He's like, what are you doing here, you old pirate? It's so good to see you. And Leia's like, oh, shit. And 3PO's like, oh, he seems nice. And Leia's like, yeah, I guess. And eventually, like, Chewbacca starts coming up. He's like, hey, Chewbacca, you still hanging out with this loser, chat? We're introduced to the first black man in Star Wars, chat. Lando Calrissian, played by Billy D. Williams. Always a shame, I think, that we didn't get more of Billy D. Williams as Lando in Return of the Jedi. It's too bad. I would like him to be more part of the group. Because, he comes in this movie, really in, like, the last, I guess this is, like, kind of the end of the second act, like, the end of the second act, into the third act. But he's kind of like a villain for most of it. I mean, eventually he goes to the side of the good guys and helps them out. But it's like, I wanted to see more of him in Return of the Jedi. We don't really do that. I mean, I'm happy that they brought Billy D. Williams back for Rise of Skywalker. He's one of the better parts of that movie. But it's always a goddamn shame. That's why I'm still hopeful that I mean, we are getting that Lando series, right? That's happening. So that'd be great. But I would have loved to have seen him play this character, because Lando's a really, really fun character. He's like Han Solo, but like more competent, in my opinion. Maybe not as good as a pilot, but when it comes to being a swindler, a gambler, a rogue, he's got Han Solo beat, in my opinion. But, you know, Lando, he gets fucking eyes on Princess Leia, and he's like, oh my God, what do we have here? We would love to have you join us in the city in the clouds. It's just fucking smooth, Chad. Takes her hand, and just starts smooching it, and she's like, woo. And Han's like, all right. Enough of that. Okay, why don't you fucking show us around? He's like, all right. And Lando is just staring at Carrie Fisher, Chad, staring at that Princess Leia Organa ass. He can't help himself, Chad. Thank you. All the grief you caused me when I was Donald Glover, right? Remember when we went through that goddamn the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, and we got attacked by a giant hentai monster, and the robot I was fucking died and is now a part of the ship? Remember that? Ah, forget it. I'm good. It's bullshit. I don't believe that for a second. He's like Holland, class, and swagger. That's what it is, Deadpool. You nailed it. Thank you, by the way, to LA Flame 21 for the follow. You're my new Huckleberry. Hope you're doing very well. And so they go in there, and 3PO is like, oh, hello, sir. My name is C-3PO, Human Cyborg Relations. And Lando's like, yeah. He's like, how rude. And eventually they go inside the Cloud City. Always loved the way this thing looked. They're walking around, because Han's like, so what are you up to, old buddy? He's like, fucking up to my ass in meetings, and I had a labor union. I got to deal with the unions all the time, and they got, shipments are trying to get on track. And Han just starts laughing, because he's like, wow, you actually look like you're taking responsibility for something. He's like, yeah, I kind of am, and I'm responsible for a lot. A lot of people are relying on me. I never thought a job like this would suit me, but I'm liking it. But it's hard. But don't worry, I'm working on a deal that makes sure that we can keep Cloud City, keep Bespin out of the sights of the Empire for quite some time. Han's like, really? He's like, yeah, really. I'll tell you more about it later. Anyway, let's keep going. And while they're going down the hallway, Chad, C-3PO spots another 3PO, Chad. 3PO is clearly just horny. He's like, oh my God, a droid I can fuck. And he's like, excuse me, ma'am, would you like to initiate sex protocols? And this thing says something to him that's like, fuck you. No, the last thing I want to do is sleep with you. He's like, how rude. And he tries to go in another room, Chad. Because he's exploding, because he hears like a beep, bop, boop. He hears an R2D2 unit. He's like, well, if I can't have sex with a 3PO version, I'm going to just have sex with an R2 unit since R2D2's not here. And so he goes in there, opens another door, but he sees something he's supposed to not see. And they're like, hey, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just about leaving now. I didn't mean to bother. He's like, oh, no. And they blow him up, Chad. He gets blasted to smithereens, and C-3PO is dead. He is confirmed dead. And Chewbacca, hears some of this shit. He goes over to check 3PO. He's like, oh. But 3PO is gone. He's like, oh. He's like, all right, whatever. And he goes back to Han and Leia chat. Eventually, we cut back to good old Luke Skywalker, all right? And he's doing some Jedi practices, Chad. He is basically on his hands, lifting Yoda up with his feet while force manipulating the world around him. She lifting up a whole bunch of rocks and stacking them and everything. It's like, wow, so goddamn good. And Yoda's like, concentrate, you must. And Luke keeps stacking all these rocks, and eventually he gets so powerful, gets so in tune with the force, and he starts lifting everything, and starts lifting R2-D2, and then Yoda's like, yes, concentrate. But Luke, because he's so connected to the force, he gets a vision, Chad. He sees the future. And he sees Han and Leia. And he's like, oh, and Yoda's like, concentrate. He's like, no. And he fucking flips over, and we see one of the funniest scenes of Yoda going, eh. He has a Chris Tucker squeal himself. And he falls down, falls on top, and R2's like, oh, God damn it. He falls too. It's ridiculous. Yoda's like, fuck it. I told you to concentrate. You don't concentrate, you're not going to get anything done. And Luke's like, I've seen my friends. They're in pain. And Yoda's just like, well, that maybe be a vision that you've experienced. And he's like, I gotta get to him. I gotta save my friends. He's like, listen, what's important to you right now, is to study with me. Mm-hmm. And Yoda's like, listen, they've been with me since the beginning of this journey. I can't just abandon them. And Yoda's like, well, if you want to leave, you must. Get your ship out of the fucking bog. And Luke's like, oh, okay. I don't know how I'm gonna get it out. He's like, use the Force, you must. And Luke's like, okay, I'll try. Yoda's like, no, there is no try. Do or do not. There is no try. He's like, all right. And so he sticks his hand out there, trying to lift as the ship. The X-Wing keeps going deeper into the bog in the swamp. And he's like, ugh. And Yoda gets this another creepy face, just like, oh. Like, is he jerking off or something? What's he doing? But Luke's like, ugh. And it goes deeper in the bog. He fucked up. And Yoda's like, and he goes back to Yoda. And he's like, you asked for the impossible. And he just stomps away and he sits down and just goes, harumph. And Yoda's like, hey, kid, I'm going to show you something badass. All right, I don't need a fucking lightsaber. And he waddles out there and he just goes, And we get a beautiful fucking scene, chat. A beautiful scene of him lifting this X-Wing over like it's nothing. Just like, And it lifts over his head. Luke's like, oh my God. R2's like, beep, bop, beep, boop. He can't believe it. As this thing is then put right down onto the beach side. And Luke's like, how did you do it? I don't believe it. And Yoda's like, bitch, that's why you fail. He's like, okay, Yoda, okay. It's like, all right, fair enough. We then cut back to Cloud City, where Leia, she's a little anxious, chat. She's worried that 3PO has gone missing. And she's like angry at Han, like, where's 3PO? I don't trust this Lando friend of yours. She's like, I don't trust him either, okay? I'm sure 3PO, he wandered off. We'll get him later. It's no big deal. And Chewie, we cut to Chewie. And Chewie's in like this garbage like area, chat. Where we see these little pig monsters, the Ugnaughts, chat. We see an Ugnaught in Star Wars The Mandalorian series, chat, where that was Nick Nolte's character. Funny enough, chat, Nick Nolte was originally supposed to be Han Solo, chat, but then he got back in the franchise by playing a pigman, chat. Hilarious. I would have loved to have Nick Nolte as Han Solo, to have him come back just going the whole time. I could see that. But he comes in, Chewie's like, yeah, 3PO is dead. He's like, what happened? And they're like, he got fucking blasted. I don't know. And like, Leia's like, can you fix him? And Chewie's like, I don't know. I'm going to try. He starts putting them together and things. Lando comes on in. And he's like, hey, I got a sweet fucking dinner for you guys. You want to come eat like right now? You want to come eat? And they're like, yeah, in a minute. And they're like, oh, what happened to your droid there? And he's like, I don't know, man. Looks like an accident. He goes, oh boy, I'm sure I had nothing to do with it. Hey, let's go eat. We'll fix your droid later. Sound good? They're like, okay. And he starts, leading them towards this big dining hall. He's like, oh, you guys are going to love the fucking spread that we got. We got tauntaun steak. We got bantha potatoes. It's going to be wonderful. And they're like, well, that's great, man. So is everything going well in Cloud City like we were saying? He's like, oh, yeah, listen, remember that deal I said? I have a fucking deal that's coming together that'll keep the Empire off our fucking backs, off our asses for years. And they open this fucking door, and we see who's sitting at the front of the goddamn table? Darth fucking Vader. And he's like, hi. You're like, ooh. And because Vader I love this fucking scene. Such a goddamn great scene, chat. He fucking stands up, and they're like, oh shit. And Han just pulls out his DL-44 heavy blaster pistol, chat. And we hear Chewbacca go, ah! Just starts screaming, and Han starts shooting, and Vader's like, and he just starts blocking it, chat, with his fucking hand, with his robot hand. And eventually he just goes, yeah! He grabs the gun with the Force, chat, takes it, and it's like, we would appreciate if you could join us for dinner. And then, chat, you hear him before you see him. You hear those spurs a clicking a clacking, chat. And who walks out from Darth Vader's left, chat? Boba goddamn Fett. Bubba Fett himself. He's like, I would like to eat too. And it's like, there you go. His man knew it. And Lando's like, they got here before you did. Boba Fett was here. He's like, oh, thanks a lot, friendo. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, pal. You're not my friend anymore. I hate you. And I guess they all sit down for dinner. And that's going to be a very awkward dinner chat because we know Boba Fett, I mean, I don't think he takes his helmet off that often. And Vader's like, can someone, like, give me a straw? I don't know what to do. But that's not great. Like, Luke's vision was correct. Vader and the Empire are there, along with Boba Fett chat. Eventually, we cut back to Dagobah, and Luke is preparing his X-Wing. He's got to get going. Yoda's telling him, like, you got to complete your training here. And Yoda's like, or Luke's like, listen, I'll come back. I promise. I have to save my friends. And even Ben Kenobi shows. He's like, hey, Luke, listen. Hey, I'm Ben Kenobi. I'm right here. What you're going to face is very serious. Like, Vader is most definitely going to be there. And for some weird, arbitrary reason, I will not be able to help you or be there. It's like, why not, Ben? It's always weird to me. It's like, yeah, you know, I could show up, like, randomly anytime, but, yeah, I can't show up there. It's like, is the dark side too powerful? No, I have no idea. And Luke's like, listen, Ben, Yoda, I promise I'll come back and complete my training. I gotta go save my friends. And he hops in his fucking X-Wing. Wonderful fucking shot and lighting here as his X-Wing's powering up. She had lifted up into the sky. And like Ben, he dissipates and he says, that boy is our last hope. Yoda goes, no, there is another. It's like, who is the other one, chat? It's Leia. It's Leia, I guess. I guess it's Leia. I don't know. Is it Rey? Is it Rey? Is it Ezra Bridger, chat? Is it Kanan Jarrus? Is it Ahsoka Tano? I don't know. I don't know. Thank you, Nick Diaz, the chat tech. Thanks for the raid. Everybody on the dance floor. Raid. Thank you, my friend. Chat, please do check out Nick Diaz's Twitch channel, the Chat Tech. He's one of the backbones of the DT community. Make sure the goddamn meal's on the goddamn car. Good to see you, my friend. Still in the middle of my review for Star Wars. Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Luke is now leaving Dagobah. There's another person out there, possibly Leia, possibly Ezra Bridger, possibly Cal Kestis, Ahsoka Tano. I don't know. Was it originally? Yeah, it was Leia. It was maybe Rey. No, it was Leia. I guess it was Leia. It's a good question. I imagine it was Leia. And then Lucas, why did you have the two of them kissing earlier in the movie? Weird. Lucas was like, because I like incest. Well, if you just like incest, George, just tell us, okay? Can you admit you like incest? Yes. All right, thank you. And so we then cut to Cloud City, and Vader, he's like, I'm going to go jigsaw on your ass, Harrison Ford. He's like, oh, no. Because he has him strapped in this fucking, like, torture gurney, chat, with all of these very sharp, pointy metal things, with all these electrical, like, sparks. And Han's like, gah! He's just screaming. And we got to Lando and Boba Fett, who are very close, like awkwardly, like super awkwardly close to each other. And they just kind of look at one another like, so, how have you been? How's things going for you? This is kind of weird. Why are they standing so close to each other? It's like, all right. Eventually, Vader walks out. He's like, all right, I had my fun. And he's like, hey, Vader, so, listen, so what's the plan? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna take Han Solo, I'm gonna take Han Solo, and we're going to send him off to the Empire. He's like, well, how are you gonna do that? He's like, I'm gonna put him in some carbonite. He's like, whoa, carbonite's not used for, like humans. He could die if you put him in there. And he goes, yeah, I know that, but I just want to see if it'll work, because I have another target, another piece of quarry that I would like to see if it's safe for. And Boba Fett's like, he's worth nothing to me dead. And Vader's like, listen, you'll be properly compensated, okay, if he dies, all right? Don't you fucking worry. And Lando's like, okay, what about, Leia and the Wookiee? And it's like, oh, yeah, they must never return. They must never leave the city. And Lando's like, that was never the arrangement of our agreement. And it's like, do you feel like you're being treated unfairly? And he's like, no. He's like, no. He's like, good. Then I'll see you in the carbonite freezing room, Donald Glover / Billy D. Williams. And then the fucking doors close, and Boba Fett's like, what's up? He walks away, and Billy D's like, this deal's getting worse all the time. It keeps getting worse, and it keeps getting fucking worse, by the way. We then cut to the prison cell, where Chewbacca is trying to repair C-3PO, chat. He does kind of put him back together, but his head's on backward. He's like, I'm an abomination. And Chewie shuts him off. Leia ends up there. Eventually, they bring Han there, and he's not looking good. He's not looking good. They drag him in there. He's like, oh, he got dark circles under his eyes. And Leia's like, oh, no. And he's like, they didn't even ask me any questions. They didn't ask him anything. Eventually, Lando comes in there. And he's like, hey, man, how you doing? And he's like, Lando, what the fuck? He's like, listen, man, I'm just trying to help you out. I'm trying to help us out. You sold us out to the Empire. Look, I have all these responsibilities. Yeah, all the responsibilities. Well, here's the back of my fucking hand. He slaps him. He backhands Lando, Chad, and he fucking falls forward. All the stormtroopers start beating the shit out of him. And Lando's like, stop. He's like, listen, I got a lot of stuff that I'm doing. And he's like, well, you keep fucking doing what you want, friend. We're just going to stay here. He's like, Jesus. And he walks off. Then eventually, Chad, we cut. We cut because we are taking Han and Leia and Chewie and 3PO down to the carbonite chamber room. And they're leading them there. They have a little stormtrooper. I love the fucking setup, by the way. It's just fucking very intimidating. And like Vader and Lando, they're talking about this. It's like, we're going to test this carbonite freezing right here. And Lando's like, again, he's explaining, but this you can't be used on humans. It's deadly. And he's like, yeah, that's I'm going to fucking use it on Captain Solo. And Lando's like, oh, shit, that's not good. Eventually, they lead them all down right there. And, you know, Han and Lando, like, Han asks him, so what's going on, buddy? He's like, we're putting you into carbon freezing. He's like, is that safe? No. It's not fucking safe. It's not safe at all. And at this point, Han and Leia are like, okay, we're kind of panicking. They're starting to grab him. Chewie, he fucking freaks out. He starts throwing and hitting stormtroopers. Boba Fett's like, I'm going to shoot that fucking Wookiee. Vader's like, no, don't shoot the Wookiee. No, he's like, put that down. And then Han's like calming Chewie down. I was like, Chewie, you gotta calm down. You gotta protect her. You have to protect her, okay? I'm gonna be okay. Chewie's like, oh, he's so sad. He's like, this is how it has to be. And, you know, Leia, she runs up to Han. She gives him a big old smooch. On the neck or on the lips, shed everywhere. Just all around him. And Vader's like, all right, fuck that. Put him in. And Leia's like, I love you. Han's like, yeah, I know. And they put him in there, Chad. It lowers down and he gets all the molten carbonite on him. He then comes out of it, Chad, the missed parts, and we see Han going, he's not looking good, just going, oh, I'm still alive. And then they push it down, the little pig man going, nyah. They come down, they push over the thing, goes ba-boom. And it lands right there. Han's still, oh! And Lando, he beeps and bops some buttons, and he listens to Han's heartbeat, and he's like, he's still alive. And Vader's like, fantastic. Boba Fett, you can take him to Jabba the Hutt. Prep it for Luke Skywalker. This guy, the stormtrooper comes over, sir, fuck, we've spotted the X-Wing. He's like, fantastic. All right, get your asses out of here. And so him and Lando start walking towards the exit. And Lando's like, okay, so I'm gonna keep Leia and Chewie and 3PO here. And there's like, nah, I'm altering the deal again. He's like, no, you said you wouldn't. Well, no, I didn't say I wouldn't. I told you to pray that I wouldn't alter it further. I'm going to take Leia Organa, Chewbacca, and C-3PO. Did you know, Lando, that I actually built that droid? It was a funny story. So I was raised on the planet of Tatooine, right? Yippee. And I was a slave to a very racist Jewish stereotype named Watto. And in my downtime, I built a protocol droid to help Mom. And I named him C-3PO. And it's crazy that he fucking ends up here of all places. It's wow, right? Isn't that nuts? Anyway, so yeah, I'm taking them, and I'm probably going to kill them all. He's like, Lando's like, no. So, that's not good, chap. That's not good at all. Eventually, though, we cut, and we see Luke. We see Luke, his X-Wing lands, and he infiltrates Cloud City. And he's like, and he sees Boba Fett escorting the carbonite frozen form of Han Solo. But Boba Fett gets a fucking look at Luke. He's like, I see you, motherfucker. I see where you are. He also sees Leia. He sees Chewie. He sees all these other people. He sees Lando. As they're moving all these people down, and Luke, like, he continues to tip up. Boba Fett's like, I saw you! Ba-bam! And he starts shooting at him, and fucking Luke Skywalker and Boba Fett start exchanging blaster fire, and Leia's like, Luke, it's a trap! It's a trap! And this one Imperial guy, who is actually Jeremy Bullock, funny enough, grabs Leia and takes her away. So it's like he's in and out of the suit multiple times. It's cool. But eventually, at this point, Luke, he still continues to explore Cloud City until, funny enough, because he's sensing out Darth Vader, Chad. He needs to find Darth Vader, and he ends up, and the lighting in this and the sound design, Chad, is absolutely fucking spectacular. It is beautiful. It is beautiful, Chad. As he's like on this platform and raises up, and he sees, like, right atop these stairs, fucking Darth Vader just standing up there. And Vader's like, the Emperor foretold that you would come here. Let's fucking throw down. And fucking Luke gets up there, Chad, and Luke, he ignites his lightsaber. And I love Vader's, look at David Prowse's body language in this scene. Because, yes, it's James Earl Jones' immaculate voice. It's incredible. But, like, his body language, like, he ignites his lightsaber, but he's just using it one-handed the whole time. Like, he doesn't take Luke as a serious threat. Because Luke is giving him his all in this fight. And Vader's just like, nah, no. And he's just throwing him around and shit. Like, you're not gonna fucking beat me. And Vader does this ridiculous, like, jump forward when he's like, whee! He flies towards Luke like this, with his feet, like, kicked back, like, yeah! And he continues the battle. Eventually, Vader just fucking force pushes Luke into the carbonite chamber and goes all too easy. Flips the switch, but then fucking Luke Skywalker, he learned about his Jedi prequel powers, like the Speed Force chat, and he jumps out of it, and Vader's like, the fuck he go? And he looks up and he sees, like, Luke going, oh. He's like, oh, look at you. Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to fucking get you. He's, like, trying to hit him. He's like, all right, you're more powerful than I expected. Fair enough. All right, most impressive. Most impressive. And eventually, Luke, he grabs one of the carbonite, like, freezing ducks, and he shoves it in Vader's mask, and Vader's like, oh! And then Luke jumps down. He fucking kicks Vader. Vader's like, ah! And Vader falls back down, chat. Meanwhile, Luke, he jumps down there trying to look for Vader, but then, chat, we cut, and Lando, he's with Leia and Chewie and 3PO and all these stormtroopers as they're escorting them to Vader's personal Imperial shuttle. But then Lando, he's like, I gotta bamboozle these troops. I can't be the bad guy in this movie. I can't be the first black man in Star Wars to betray everybody. I will not stand. And so he bops and beeps and boops on his little Star Wars watch, and he contacts his boy Lobot, chat, who's like, cool, let's fucking betray the Empire. And so all of the Bespin guards come out, and they start blasting the Imperials, and they start punching him. And Leia's like, what are you doing? He's like, we don't have a lot of time. Okay, we gotta get out of here. We gotta go after we gotta go after Boba Fett. He has Han, like, he's taken Han to Jabba the Hutt. If we get to Slave One, I find that ship name offensive, by the way. We can get him before it happens. We can prevent Return of the Jedi. The first 45 minutes of Return of the Jedi, we can prevent that from ever happening. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm clairvoyant. He unhooks her. And then all of a sudden, chat, he goes for Chewie's wristbands, and Chewie just goes, and he starts choking the shit out of Lando. He's like, Han. He's like, Han. He's like, Han, yeah, Han. We can get him. We can get him. If we just go and get Boba Fett. And they're like, fantastic. And they let go of him. And he's like, oh, you've crushed my trachea. 3PO's like, I'm sorry. He does that to everybody. But they go towards the Boba Fett chat. They're running after him at this point. And we cut to Boba Fett, and they're loading good old Han Solo in there. It's like, put him in the fucking cargo hold. And they go up there. Eventually, though, Leia and Lando and Chewie, they get over there, chat, and they start a blasting, but Slave One's already taken off. It's too goddamn late. Oh, no. But then all these fucking stormtroopers show up, chat, and they start shooting at him. It's like, we're never going to get out of here. But you know who rolls up in the last minute, chat? R2-D2, because he lost Luke Skywalker in Cloud City. He's like, that motherfucker just rode off. How you doing, 3PO? He's like, how does it look like I'm fucking doing? I don't have any arms or legs. He's like, fair enough. And he creates a distraction, chat. He creates a distraction as they're engaged in a blaster battle. Meanwhile, we cut back to Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. And Luke, he's walking down, like, I love he had this giant tunnel that just lights up, and he goes into it, and he goes in this, like, other, like, mechanical room with, this is beautiful, chat. as he's walking down here, it's completely dark. Everything's like masked in shadow. But Vader's not, I guess Vader was holding his breath. Is like, okay, he's going to hear me before he sees me. Because as soon as he goes, and Luke's like, ooh, and he starts blocking. He starts blocking Vader's lightsaber stabs and slashes. And Vader's not playing around anymore. He's using both hands now, chat. And Luke's starting to get his ass kicked at this point. He's like, ah, shit. Vader's like pushing him and everything. Not looking good. Eventually, Vader just, hits him forward. And Luke's like, oh, shit. And Vader's like, I'm going to start throwing stuff at you. And he starts force picking up things, shit, and throwing boxes, like metallic boxes. And Luke's like, he's like, you got terrible form, kid. And Vader, he throws one more of the box, but it hits this window, and apparently, Chad's the vacuum of space out there because everything starts getting sucked out, and Vader's like, oh, shit. Even Vader's like, I gotta hold on for something. But Luke, he ends up getting sucked out, Chad, and falling onto this catwalk. And he manages to pick himself up. And he tries to get, around to the other side. You get around the other side, but it's very difficult for him. Meanwhile, we cut back to Lando and Leia and Chewie and 3PO, and they're blasting all these stormtroopers trying to get to the Millennium Falcon. Lando, he gets on his intercom and says, everyone get the fuck out of Cloud City. The Imperials are going to occupy it. Just get the fuck out. We have one random guy with a random ice cream making machine running by. It's like, I hope you survive, ice cream man. We need to have Star Wars ice cream. And so eventually they get to the Millennium Falcon. R2-D2 just farts a bunch. He releases his smoke grenade attachment, and it prevents the stormtroopers from shooting even more. Like, they're not accurate yet, but now they're shooting even less accurately. And they're hitting each other at this point. And they board the Falcon. They board the Falcon and they take off. Meanwhile, we cut back to Luke, who is coming around the other side trying to get inside the building so he's not exposed to the vacuum of Cloud City, chat. But Vader's there, baby. He's like, you! And they start lightsaber. The choreography for all of the lightsaber battles in Empire, amazing. So this is my favorite lightsaber duel of all time, chat. It's grounded, but it's suitably epic. The choreography's on point. It's not like a New Hope. Like a New Hope's lightsaber battle, it's like it's rough. You have one guy in a suit who doesn't know what he's fucking slashing at, and a 72-year-old man going at it. This one, it works on every, just in every single scene. It's perfect. And so they're going in, and Luke, he gets a good slash in at Vader. He hits him in his fucking shoulder. He's like, ooh! And Vader's like, fuck this. He goes, hee-yah! And he starts slashing. But then when Luke, his form isn't great yet with his lightsaber. And Vader, he notices that, and he hits the lightsaber and goes, whoop, and goes, and he cuts his fucking hand off. When I saw this as a kid, it scared the hell out of me. I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, he cut his hand off. And Luke just falls back, just like, oh. And Vader's like, don't make me destroy you. And he's just like, Luke's like, no. Oh, he just crawls onto like the catwalk on this little piece of metal out there, like this little antenna. And he's just hanging out there. And he's like, you don't understand the power of the dark side, what it can do. We can do so much. And it's like, Obi-Wan, he never told you what happened to your father, did he? And Luke's like, he told me enough. He told me you killed him. Vader's like, nah, man, I'm your father. And Luke's like, what? He's like, no, I am your father. No! Search your feelings, you know it to be true. It's not possible. I'll never join you. I love it. What's it? Like, join me, and together we can end this destructive conflict. I'll never join you. And then he goes the whole thing. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. He told me enough. He told me you killed him. No, I'm your father. Oh my God! So there we go, chat. Bro family, a bro family moment. Luke's face contortions are brilliant. They're so fucking amazing. He's like, yeah. It's like his face is gonna collapse on itself. And he's like, search your feelings, man. You know what's been true. He's like, listen, we can rule, we can destroy the Emperor together. The Emperor, I hate. Papa Palpatine sucks. Okay? He made me betray the Jedi Order, and my wife died anyway, and that made me sad. But hey, you're here. We can team up, and we can take down the Emperor and rule the galaxy as father and son. How about it, man? Let's go. It looks like, nah. And he fucking just, he just jumps off the satellite dish, chat, and appears to falls to his doom. Vader's like, ah, shit. And Luke's like, ah. And he falls through a fucking tube, chat, and he, like, slides down it. Meanwhile, he's trying to, like, hold on to his cauterized stump. And eventually he gets up. He's, like, walking. And then the fucking floor just gives way. He's like, ah. And he falls down. He falls on top of another satellite, chat. And he's hanging on for your dear life while, you know, trying to, like, keep all his blood and innards from leaking out of his stump. He's like, Leia. Ben's like, can't help you, Luke. I told you I couldn't show up there for some reason. He's like, Ben, please. At this point, he's like, Leia. And Leia, who's on the Falcon, is like, hey, Billy D. Williams. He's like, what's up? All right, we got to go back. I hear Luke calling for me. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We got to go back. And Chewie's like, he's like, okay. We'll go back. We'll fly back. Meanwhile, Vader, he walks out from the battle. He's like, yeah, he fucking killed himself. So we're just gonna go back up to my fleet, and we're still gonna go. We're gonna pick up Princess Leia and Chewbacca and 3PO and all that good stuff. And they're like, sir, they escaped. He's like, are you fucking serious? He's like, god damn it. Well, let's get up into space and we'll stop them from leaving the planet. Sound good? It's like, sounds good, sir. He's like, all right, let's go. They fly up there. Meanwhile, the Falcon flies back towards Cloud City, and Leia, she spots Luke because she senses him, chat. She senses him, and he's like, help me. She's like, ooh, he looks rough. Lando's like, I'll go ahead and grab him. And he goes up to, like, the little top of the topway entrance of the Falcon, chat, goes, boop, 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 boop. I love the lighting for this. And Luke's like, I don't know who you are, random black man, but save me. And he fucking drops, and Lando catches him, chat, and he's, like, cradling Mark Hamill, and they go down the tube, and he brings him here. He's like, yeah, this guy's, like, falling apart. And Leia's like, oh my God, what happened? He's like, let me tell you, I met a little small goblin man who's really a Jedi master. Ben Kenobi keeps haunting me, and Darth Vader's my dad. I've been through a lot today. Also, I lost a hand. Not great. He's like, don't worry, I'm going to put like a plastic thing on. I'm going to put like a plastic suction cup. You'll be good. And so she puts him in the back, puts this plastic suction cup on. It's like, you go ahead and rest. We're going to go back to the Falcon cockpit. They up in the Falcon cockpit, chat. They're flying out in the space. And Lando, he's trying to activate the hyperdrive, chat, but it's not repaired. He's like, it's not my fault. He's doing the whole Han Solo thing. It's not my fault. I told them to repair it. And they're like, shit, this is all messed up. It's too stressful. Meanwhile, chat, we cut to Vader, who was in the Executor, who's pursuing the Millennium Falcon, and he gets on the space Skype. He's like, hey, Luke, how you doing? I know that our last meeting wasn't the best, but I want to know if you still wanted to join me. And Luke's like, Father? He goes, yeah, I'm your dad. He's like, you probably lost a lot of blood, and you're most likely concussed and going through a traumatic episode. Boy, I remember mine. I had all my fucking limbs cut off by Ben Kenobi, matter of fact, on the side of the volcano, and I had fucking lava melt my penis. But all in time, son. You'll get over it. You'll get over it. You want to join the dark side? And eventually he's like, no, I don't want to. And then he just starts talking to Ben. He's like, Ben, why the fuck did you lie to me? And Ben's like, listen, man, I just really want you to kill your dad. Like, he's a lost cause. Anakin, like, did he tell you about the limbs thing? When I cut all his limbs off and the volcano? He's like, yeah, he told me that. He's like, yeah, I just don't like him. So I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I'll come back to you. I'll come back. Maybe from a certain point of view, he's dead. He's like, shut up, Ben. All right, I'll go. And then eventually, chat, R2-D2, he just plugs his metallic penis inside the Falcon. And apparently, chat, the Falcon just needed some good old-fashioned robot dick. And it went, I'm good. Let's fucking activate the hyperdrive. And they go, ba-boom. And they fly away, chat. They hyperdrive away to the Rebel fleet. And Vader's like, hey, Luke, you still there? Okay, I guess we disconnected. Next time, I'll see you in a year in Return of the Jedi. Cool. We then cut to one of the Rebel vessels, chat, where Luke is getting a cool robot hand by the same droid, matter of fact, that gave him the robot feet and also put him in the back to tank with the big old derpy diaper, chat. He's like, oh, thanks, man. We see, like, the little mechanical things when he moves his hands. Like, awesome. He clicks it in. And he goes and joins Leia and R2-D2 and 3PO as they look out. And we see Chewbacca and Lando inside the Millennium Falcon. And Lando, for some reason, is wearing Han Solo's clothes. Don't understand that. I was like, why is he wearing Han's clothes? Kind of weird. He's like, I have nothing else to wear. I mean, he didn't have time to get anything. Like, he was like, I am escaping with everything that I just have on my back. And he's like, I need to wear something because I reek. I smell. I got major BO. I got to take a space shower. And he only has fucking vests. Why does he only have vests? All right. And that's probably the reason why, Chad, because he's stinky and he need to wear new clothes. And he's like, listen, we're going to find Han. We'll get him back from Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt. We'll see you in the next movie. And they fly off, Chad, like right by this giant, like, nebula star. It's a star. And Luke, like, puts his hand around Leia. And the C-3PO's there and R2-D2's there, Chad. And they look out and it's like, wow, we had a very traumatic experience. He goes, yeah, it's the middle chapter of the trilogy. Is what happened. He's like, fair enough. And that, my friends, is Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, chat. A fantastic movie, in my opinion. My personal favorite Star Wars movie. A sci-fi, fantasy, classic, chat. Brilliant direction by Irvin Kershner. Wonderful script. Everyone involved, everyone from Kershner to Kasdan to Harrison Ford, who wrote his own dialogue. Amazing. Special effects hold up to this day. I mean, great performances across the board. Yeah, there's some corny stuff in there. There's some campy stuff in there. Maybe there's some, the extras, tertiary characters, maybe not the best of actors, but it's still, to me, a masterpiece. It's a wonderful film that has aged so well. It's 40+ years old now, chat, and it's well worth watching again and showing, future generations, chat. Like, this is fucking cinematic. This is a movie, chat. It's a perfect picture. This is the very definition, chat, of a better than sex on the double toasted DT scale, chat. And that, my friends, is my review. That was a long one. I'm feeling it. Daryl McCoy, juicy gain, juicy gain, juicy gain. How many bits would it take for you to do a spoiler review on my life like that? Oh, God. If you can write it out, I'll do it. I'll do it. Happy to do it, man. Oh, at least 2,500 biddies. I will tell the story of your life. Creepy Anakin. I killed not just the men, but the women and the children, too. I hate them. They're animals, and I slaughter them like animals. That's how he cries. Hamburger, I'm going to grab a drink. I'll be right back. Me too, man. I need a drink. I'm starting to write a novel now. You get those bits. Do it, man. Do it. Lucas showed people how to make real movies. He played a big role in blockbuster filmmaking, chat, no question about it. But I hope you enjoyed the review. I used to be creepy Anakin. Nuckips. Oh yeah, Shadows of the Empire's happened, chat. I could do a review of Shadows of the Empire. And so, chat, let me tell you about Prince Izor, or Shizor, whatever his name is. Some incest. And there's a lot of incest in Star Wars. No doubt. But, chat, I'm going to go ahead and take a brief break. In the meantime, please entertain yourselves amongst yourselves, and I shall come back and continue with entertainment, chat. I'll be starting Resident Evil 3 Remake. It'll be fun. Thank you, Bilbo. Unlimited biddies. Thank you, Bilbo Baggins. You will get the chain hype here, chat. Boom. Stick around.